I'd like to welcome you to the July 9th, 2019 open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. I guess that's my call to order. I'll learn to use the right words. First on our agenda is, first on our order of business is to approve the agenda.
So move to approve the agenda for the July 9th meeting, the open session of the planning board.
Fantastic.
Seconded.
Any discussion? I do.
Okay.
I believe that I'm not prepared to discuss the minutes from the meeting of June 25th at this point. So I'd like to move that to our next meeting, if that's okay with you all. Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to take 2 minutes to give an update on the master plan. Mark and I attended a meeting with Robert and Alan. I just want to bring everyone up to date on that.
Okay, so let's put that on new business at the end.
Good.
Great. You may have 2 minutes.
That's all I need.
Thanks. With those changes, if they're okay to everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? Great, thank you. So the minutes from June 11th meeting, we can jump in on those. Let me ask a cursory question. Anybody have a chance to send, I didn't get a chance to get to these until pretty late last night, and I didn't get a chance to send my comments to Heather. Has anybody sent comments to Heather on these at this point?
No.
So I'm gonna run through them very quickly, I think, and some of these are typos, and some of these actually, I think, have to do with meaning. So
There was one typo I found.
I'm gonna jump over the fact that we have anointed Ken as the king of the planning board.
Yeah, right, this game, I like that, yeah.
You know, I gotta tell you,
really?
spell
You
checker.
moved from MVP to king?
Right, yeah, spell checker is it.
Oh.
But I'm gonna ask you all to
I think I could use it.
Good.
page 2.
Okay, so you skipped page 1.
I'm skipping page. Yeah, page 1. I found a typo, and I think actually it was a pretty accurate description of what happened with
Ken is, as far as I know, he's singular, not plural, so I think he's vice chairman rather than man.
Yeah,
but
I think I
that's a
have
small
I think
thing.
that a couple of times.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
top of page 2.
Yeah, fix that.
Second paragraph, Mr. Archambault suggested a variance from the zoning board for reduced frontage lots may be, I think that's, I would add a D to reduced, and I would change the last word to O-N-E, please.
Mhm.
Lots may be one potential solution to the issue. Farther down the page, 5 paragraphs from the bottom, Mr. Archambault stated that the board also need to vote to accept the conservation analysis that was completed after the, I believe that word is intended to be preliminary subdivision.
Yes.
Thank you. The next paragraph, it reads long. So going to the third sentence, the second sentence ends with fire hydrants and fire truck access.
Period.
I'd like to put a period there and send in capital T for there's also concern that the project falls under section 9.6 of the Ayer zoning bylaw, which requires a permit for land clearing.
It should say requires a site plan permit. for land clearing.
Thank you. I will accept that.
And the next sentence is the same. It's called, where it says special permit, it should say site plan.
So remove special permit, make it site plan.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had nothing else on that page. Turning the page to page 3. I think a lot of Mr. Goldsmith, but turning him into a mountain is not the right thing to do. In the third sentence, it says Mount Goldsmith. If we could change that to Mr., I'd appreciate that.
Oh, there it is.
Sorry?
Might have a mountain named after
That's typically it's posthumous. Let's not rush that. Okay. Next paragraph. Mr. Goldsmith went over the details of the overall project. I'm sorry. In the last sentence of the previous one, stormwater reports show basins and stormwater from project. I'd like to insert the word the. Stormwater from the project will mimic existing conditions with water going to, and I think that's existing wetlands. Getting rid of wet, we're
I was
losing
wondering why
wetlands
they were
too
in such a hurry
fast.
to leave.
Yeah, let's not add it. Thank you. Mr. Gold, the next paragraph. Mr. Goldsmith will know the details of the overall project, including the house lots, stating that the groundwater is, and I have trouble with, is 26 inches, is at 26 inches. I think what Mr. Goldsmith wanted to characterize is that the groundwater is approximately 26 inches below the surface across the property. And I'd hate to hold his feet to the fire on exactly where it is. Groundwater is one of those things we can't see. So I'd like to add the word approximate, please, before the number 26.
Yep.
In the last line, and I have these, I'll hand these corrections to you, Heather. These suggestions. Lots 10, 11, as well as 13 and 14 have the easements for drainage and utilities, which I'd like to add will also be used for access to the open space. We discussed that, and it says will be used, and I think we're going to don't want to lock them down on exactly what those easements will be because we're not done yet. DPU covenants. Nothing there. On the next page, page 4. Under board questions, 1, 2, 3, the fourth question down. Mr. Diskin asked about the E1 pumps. Did you or did I ask about the E1 pumps?
It was a general discussion.
Okay, let's stay with the way it is, because I asked Mr. Goldsmith to elaborate on them, only because I've lived with things for a long time. That's pretty much what I have in the way of suggestions. Does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, you got something on page 5.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
So on that first section on the new business, it said, Mr. Diskin asked Mr. Eisenberg to review the process for OSRD application. Mr. Diskin stated that as he was reviewing, I don't know, this
Yeah.
sentence doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, right, good call.
I missed that one, sorry.
Are you going to review the regulations? Is that what that you wanted to review them?
Mr. Diskin
Should we
stated,
strike the sentence?
as he was, I guess that we don't, I don't know.
Let's strike the sentence. That's okay with you, Ken?
That's fine.
So that will just be Mr. Diskin asked Mr. Asher to review the process of OSRD applications.
Read this section, then board meeting, see what the questions are, the need for special permit from the general. Okay, that was fine. Yeah, I think the second to the last sentence was the one regarding, it says Mr. Diskin stated that he would like to see an answer from town council regarding the language in the bylaw, but that language was the one regarding shared driveways. Probably should add not just the language of the whole bylaw, let's get
And the bylaw
qualify it.
So let's add at the end, language in the bylaw regarding shared driveways, okay?
A common driveway, shared driveway.
Regarding, I'm gonna make common, okay. Thank you.
And then you clarified it in the last one.
Okay. If there's nothing else.
Mark clarified it.
I'm sorry, yeah. With that, accept the motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Would you mind? Thank you very much. And I'm happy, Heather, to help you with my chicken scratch. My grandfather was
Can't
the
be any
last.
worse than mine.
My grandfather was the last doctor in my family. Okay, great. So that's the 6:11 minutes. We're going to jump over the 6:25 minutes, which brings us to continuing the public hearing for the proposed definitive subdivision 54 and 15 Littleton Road. 20 lots. And I would ask Mr. Goldsmith, are you going to join us? Yep.
Yeah, I know the building commissioner is here,
Yeah.
Mr. Charlie Schultz, and he would like to say a few words. I thought if I had time for maybe 5 minutes tops, I could go over the list of issues that I think we should discuss tonight so that we don't forget about them,
Okay.
don't get off track. We don't have to go into a discussion of these right now, but this is the list that we can use as guidance.
Just coming up your report. basically.
Yeah, actually, based on the report.
Excuse me for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, so Cal, what I was going to say is, Building Inspector Charlie Schultz has not
Yeah.
had an opportunity to get his thoughts down for us on paper.
Okay.
So Charlie's asked to make a verbal presentation to us here in the meeting.
Okay, you want
And
me
then
to
he's
sit
got
back?
some, I'm sorry?
Do you want me to sit back there?
No, I'm just gonna kind of lay the
Oh, that's
groundwork for
fine.
how we're gonna,
Right, gotcha.
and we were gonna get there. Just so you know, it's a little out of the ordinary for us, but we'd rather keep moving forward. We've got a lot has been done in the last couple of weeks. I wanna keep the
Yep.
momentum going forward. So.
I agree.
And then Charlie's got something going on that he's gotta get off to, so we're gonna
That's fine, yeah.
I'm zigging a little, we're gonna zig a little tonight, but
Not a
okay?
problem.
Just
Okay.
wanted to let you all know what's going on. So Mark, why don't you,
Right.
do we need to open this? Do we need to inform on the continuation of the hearing?
Yeah.
No, it was, you did open it.
Good.
With the agenda, right?
Great,
So-
thanks.
Okay, I'm just gonna take these are based on my staff report and some of the correspondence that's been going back and forth the last few days between town council and myself, and also people at Mass DOT regarding traffic studies. So first I want to talk about peer review studies, and this is something we can discuss after the general discussion that Charlie would like to start off. As far as the traffic study is concerned, I did research based on the traffic study that was done for Gage Cannabis, and I talked with Joseph Raleigh and Jeff Gomes at Mass DOT. It appears that a special traffic study for this subdivision, even if it included the Shaker Mill Pond subdivision, would be of marginal value due to the fact that they have a sort of a growth rate that is assumed in the background. So traffic over time, even in the no-build scenario, increases by 1 or 2% a year. So when I asked him if he thought that this subdivision would fall under that background growth, he replied yes. So it sounds to me, the board, we can discuss this later, but I think that a traffic study per se would be of marginal value to this particular subdivision, given that, and also given that it's a state-controlled highway.
Yeah.
He did tell me, though, that this is his quote, with highway access permits, we require development's driveways or roadway to be constructed to our standard. Depending on the size of the development, other mitigation measures may be required, so such as speed limit reduction or signage, whatever, so.
But
Sounds
those generally
like-
fall out of the purview, outside of the purview of the planning board.
Right,
That's
so,
your problem.
Yep.
Right.
When we go,
Happy to let you have it.
when we go for the highway opening permit, that becomes,
There you go.
Right. That's what triggers their review. So-
which we can't do until we've got an approved subdivision.
Yep.
Yes.
As far as the other peer reviewed study that we started to discuss at the last meeting, something that would address stormwater, groundwater, and hydrology. I'll just read what I typed up from my own notes here. Due to the small size of the parcel, approximately 11 acres, and the overlap of issues facing both the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission, I recommend that the Planning Board and Conservation Commission together oversee a peer review study of the stormwater, groundwater, and hydrological issues on the property. This will be more efficient and will save the applicant time and money as well. I ask that the Planning Board review the draft scope of work in the staff report and add or amend if desired, and I brought copies of that, which have a few slight amendments that I worked on with the Conservation Administrator, Joanne, who's in the audience tonight.
That was from when you sent out the report on Friday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Conservation Commission will be discussing this at their meeting on Thursday evening, 2 nights from now. If the Planning Board gives a go-ahead through a motion to hire a peer review consultant for these topics, I will work with the Conservation Administrator to set this in motion immediately. So, time is of the essence. So we're looking at probably a slightly larger firm that has experts in all these fields that can address all the issues.
And I know we had a quick discussion about this, yeah?
Right.
We had a quick discussion about this and we didn't cover the minutes, but go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can I see a copy of that scope as
Oh,
well,
yes,
so I can comment
absolutely.
on it, please?
I was going to pass it out to everybody.
I haven't
once we
seen it
have-
either. I was
Since we're the ones paying
Well,
for it,
it's in
I'd like
the-
to comment.
Exactly.
Yes,
And-
absolutely, and I will pass that out as soon as I just go through the list of issues and we get through the opening stuff.
We're all going to see it at the first, we'll all see it together, Cal.
Okay, so I started out with potentially good news for the applicant there. Next, legal opinions from town council. We did receive legal opinions. Town council believes that section 9.6 on land clearing and grading, the site plan part of that would apply to the upland portion of the property. We should discuss that with the applicant a little bit later on. Also, what I call the lot open space, or open space on a lot, which is more like a yard that's pervious. She believes that that also is applicable, and she referred us to section 5.1, principal uses in the zoning bylaw, which I can read. And yeah, there is somewhat of a conflict between what 5.1 says and 10.11 says about OSRDs versus the rest of the bylaw. And I realize we have some discrepancies in the bylaw, and I have already started, I'm working on amendments to the OSRD section, which we've discussed previously, and I will continue to do so that we take this subdivision as a learning experience that we build on and improve the bylaw that we have to deal with.
And Cal, you received the communication from the town council,
I did,
probably as quickly as we did. You probably read it before I did also.
probably.
Yeah, I sent it out on the same morning.
Don't be offended.
I'll have
by
plenty
that.
to say about it
Yeah.
whenever the time
But
is
I didn't
appropriate.
receive those since, we
Yeah.
got those Monday morning. She worked on those Sunday evening. My first thing I was, you worked on Sunday night?
Oh, well, they're attorneys.
Yep. Okay, and the third item of general concern is the extension of the time period for the planning board in which to act. The 90-day review period for a definitive subdivision that also had a preliminary plan is set to expire on August 8th. Given the need for this peer review study for the stormwater and the hydrology and other issues that might need to be resolved, I recommend that the planning board request an extension of the time period in which to act from the applicant. An extension that gets us to the second meeting in August should be sufficient, though we can discuss details of that. I believe that's in everybody's interest, both the applicants and the planning board, in order to give us the information we need to make an informed decision. And that will, we'll try to expedite the peer review study as quickly as possible and get that done in just a few weeks. But it's pushing it if we have to act on this plan at the end of July, which is coming up very quickly.
And I'm assuming you had a chance to think about that also?
I haven't really, but we would certainly allow an extension to the second meeting in August, yeah. I don't have any problem with
I'm
that.
actually checking my calendar because we're getting to the time of the year we usually don't meet now. We check people's calendars, make sure they're around. Because I did see the words adding an additional meeting, and I'm not in a position with family and other commitments to be able to add that right now. Okay, great.
All right,
Do you have
so
anything
that's all
else?
I have for my opening statements about the
Okay,
issues we
thank
should
you.
discuss tonight. And,
Thank you. Charlie?
Good evening, Mr.
So,
Chairman and board
thank you.
members.
Yeah, for those of the board who don't know, this is Charlie Schultz, our building inspector here in town. Charlie, you want to come on? Can you, do you have a chair for you?
Put a bunch of stuff here, I don't
Thanks.
have enough room.
Just get you
Well,
close enough so the microphone can hear you. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I apologize for not getting my written comments back sooner, but I moved my office, I got lost in the shuffle, then I tried to do it and I'm by myself. So I didn't have enough time to put it all down in paper, so I may flip-flop a little, but I just wanted you to have my comments in case.
So for the viewing public, what's happening is when an application comes before the town, it's given to department heads for their comments, and Charlie's basically doing it. A verbal report to us and follow up with his written report. Go ahead, Charlie. please.
Okay, so I'll start here. So under waivers, I would suggest, I kind of mixed it, a 40-foot right-of-way roadway with 24 feet width is okay, but I don't believe there should be one 5-foot sidewalk area and two 2-foot grass planting strips. I'd go with the 2 4-foot sidewalk areas and 2 3-foot grass planting strips. And the reason being, if you go into Pingree Hill, their grass strips, I can't remember the size, but it's difficult when you have the ladies with a stroller getting through, so the more room, the better. If you don't do it now, you can't do it later. So since it's a planning board, that's, I thought was okay. And then for the trees, I would stay with the required instead of the requested. There's no reason why not to put the trees in the beginning. So that takes care of the waivers. I watched your meeting of June 11th, I think, here and there, and they talked about the elevation at Littleton Road, no stormwater running down into the subdivision road. and it was gonna elevate up and then go down. If for rain would be fine. My concern might be when they're plowing snow, there's a heavy buildup. Is that gonna be long enough so the water seeps back towards the roadway where there's catch basins instead of infiltrating the subdivision with excess water? Also, since it isn't, it hasn't been built yet, I think there should be provisions somewhere for when they plow for the snow to be somewhat stockpiled. Because otherwise, it's just gonna ruin everyone's yard. You're gonna start complaining about the salt killing the grass and so on and so on. And you could do that, try and incorporate it into the plan now. So then under, let me go to, give me a second here to pull up the same section. Let me hop to this one because I'm right here. Okay, so under special regulations, 10.12, section B, state, in such case, the applicant shall be subject to site plan review, blah, blah, blah. If the proposed OSRD also involves one or more common driveways, density bonuses, so on, or any other use that requires a special permit, the proceedings for all such special permits and site plan review for lot configuration shall occur in one consolidated special permit. So the way I read that is that if there's more than one common driveway, which there is, I don't know the exact number, that they would also need a special permit. And then, that's B. And furthermore, on the common driveways, I know the town encourages them for open space and recreation and for the good of the community. If you take the ones on Littleton Road where they have the 8 houses, they've got 2 or 3 driveways, it's a busy road in a depression, that's public safety is a reason I think the town would allow common driveways for that. If you take the last 2 houses on Nashua Street that were built about 10 years ago, the corner lot has a wetland on the top right-hand side, so what they did is they accessed, it had 100 foot of frontage, the other one had 100, but the town allowed them to have a common driveway so they didn't have to disturb any wetlands and or buffer zone. It's my opinion that that's what the intent of the common driveways are. It's not to densely populate a small area. So my opinion is that they're there for public safety and or the protection of the town's resources and wetlands, and not to get as many houses as you can in one subdivision. That's that one.
May I reflect on Charlie's comments, Chair?
Sure, man. Let's get through what Charlie's going to do,
Okay, that's
and then
fine.
we'll take some questions.
Yeah,
I'm
just-
sorry, Jonathan, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then, so town council already answered this, but I disagree with the applicant's contention that the OSRD is exempt from 9.62, section B. It's my opinion that the exemption is only for the portion of the area that conversation has jurisdiction over, not the sub, but that was answered by town council. Then my other questions, a couple other ones are, a crown road compared to a slope road. I'm not an engineer and I don't build roads, but I would
So
think
I'm
that.
gonna force all this. We've actually received the
Cover that.
Okay.
Crown Road will be done
Okay, that
for
was,
all the right reasons.
and then, I haven't seen it, but the water runoffs from roofs, and I don't know if they did it this way, but a lot of times when subdivision plans come in, they'll put a 2 foot depth of stone around the house, 2 foot out, but that's not allowed by the building code. This water shall be sloped 6 inches away, 10 feet out. Once you add that stone against the foundation, unless it's encased, all the stone and the drain shooting away, it doesn't meet the building code. And I don't know if that's in effect in this project.
That may or may not, if
No,
I
we-
may, that may or may not impact a few, at this point, they're all on, they're pretty much on slab on
Okay.
grade.
Yep.
So there may be some basements.
But it is, in any case, they'll all be sloping away from the foundation anyway.
Yeah, so that wouldn't
You can't-
even pertain
You can't
to
put them into a
this.
subsurface because you don't have the depth of groundwater.
Just add, you know,
Okay.
like 24 inches.
100 for the front and wetlands, and then, my last comment is just, I know this OSRD is new and it probably needs to be tweaked a little, but just because the OSRD formula allows for a certain number of houses, it doesn't mean you can't go under. It's only feasible if the amount of dwelling units fit on the site. You know, we live out in the country here. People move out here to have some space, not to be able to open their window and shake their neighbor's hand. It's just my opinion from growing up in here my whole life. That's a personal opinion, not from my position as building commissioner. So anyhow, thank you for your time. I just wanted to get that out in case any of them were pertinent and you wanted to get answers to them, so it didn't hold up the process for the applicant.
Okay. Charlie, let me just, if you don't mind,
No.
go through it quickly.
Yeah,
Waivers regarding the sidewalks.
yes.
You okay with a 40-foot right of way? You would rather have, your opinion is no to 1 5-foot sidewalk and yes to 2 4-foots with 2 3-foot grass strips. That's,
Yes, just
Okay,
because
yeah.
of if mothers walking with kids, they don't need to cross the road if they don't have to. I don't know how far it is, it might be 100, 200 feet, but for the price of that, it gets built into the home anyhow.
no, thank you. Trees stay with the requirements, not what was asked for.
Yeah.
The elevation of levels of the road, you have an issue that when there's snow buildup on the road that we might get water backing up into the property, if I can paraphrase.
Yeah.
And the snow, and you would ask for snow stockpile locations. You would, somewhere on the property for
Yeah,
snow
an
removal.
easement or something, because snow's gotta go somewhere, and they're not gonna plow it uphill back into
Yep.
the street.
Okay. Regarding 10.1.2B, more than one common driveway, there is a need for a special permit. Also, common driveways are for public safety and resource, I'm gonna call it resource protection.
Yeah.
Okay, wetlands, stuff like that, to paraphrase, and not to increase, not there to increase the density of the building units. Under 9.6.2, you disagree with the applicants, that the OSRD is exempt from 9.6.2. And then I wrote down your 2-foot stone drains around basements. I call them
Yeah.
French drains.
They'll be okay there because there are no
Yeah.
basements.
Exactly. So that's fine. And then you finished with the opinion that the OSRD allows too many units in the space given the culture of our town. Fair enough?
Fair enough. Or the size of that site, what they have to work with there. A larger site, the formula would probably work, but on a smaller site, I think there's too many lots when you do the calculation on a smaller site compared to a larger site.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Jonathan,
right.
I held you up. If you don't want
No,
to ask
it's
Charlie a
okay.
quick question.
I just wanted to make an observation about the comment about the town encouraging common drives. When I checked the zoning bylaw, it seemed to me that that was in the context of minimizing cuts to public roads. Within that context, the town encourages the common driveway. And I just wanted that clarification, that when we hear the word, we're encouraged to use it, it's
Yes.
encouraged to minimize cuts to public roads.
Yeah.
That's an
Right, and
issue.
protect resources.
Which
and
is
public
exactly why
safety.
we did this, because this is gonna be a public road.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Charlie,
Charlie.
thank
Anything
you
else?
very much.
Okay.
Look forward to
Thanks,
getting
Charlie.
your written comments.
You guys have a nice night.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'd like to run a meeting that just follows the rules. I'm only kidding, guys. Okay, so we are at the point now where you brought up 5 unit. You brought up 4 topics to discuss.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I just want to kind of reground the meeting, and we are at the point where continuing the discussion about The definitive subdivision. I'm going to start out with the traffic study. Being the chair, I get to do this. Aren't we all glad we don't have to read a 114-page traffic study? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
For the benefit of the folks in the audience, Gage did do a traffic study, and the Commonwealth was more than happy to send it over to us, and they did. And Mark very quickly sent us a 114-page traffic study, and wow, who would have thought there'd be that much to think about in a traffic study? And I know you deal with them all the time, Cal.
Yeah, they're exciting.
Yeah, they're exciting. So I'm kind of, I was interested and happy to find out that they consider a 20-unit or so subdivision to be roughly background noise. The number of trips a day, I don't even know what it generates. It's probably somewhere less than 100 would be the math. What's the math on it?
It's usually 10 trips per day per house.
That's a lot.
Well, that's way more than you actually see, but that's
Yeah.
what they tell you to use.
That's what they said. Okay, great. So 200 trips.
But
okay.
even that's background noise on that road.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So that one we're going to put aside and be done with for now?
Yeah, the board, it sounds, like, we have the right to request that, but it doesn't look like we get much for the effort to do so.
Yeah, I
according
think-
to the state, and also that's right, I talked to the police chief in town too about this very issue after I obtained the Gage traffic study, and he concurred that, in his view, a traffic study just for the subdivision or even including Shaker Mill Pond would be marginal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
Of course, the white elephant in the room, excuse me, the elephant in the room is the property across the street, but we can't cross that bridge right now.
right,
The last piece of undeveloped land over there. Okay,
yeah.
at this point. Fantastic. Next was stormwater,
Peer review?
stormwater and hydrological study peer review.
Yep, and I have here, this is the same description of that was in the staff report with a little bit added in green, just very minor points, and give this to the
Why don't we
applicant.
give
If anybody in the audience would like this, I made many copies.
Could I have one?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, brother.
So this came about, Mark, after you and Joanne, Christoph, the conservation administrator, sat down and talked about this, correct?
Yes, because based on the discussion at the last meeting, there we go. Yep, we thought that given the high water table and problems that other subdivisions have had in town, in similar situations, that it would be warranted to have a peer review study of those issues, stormwater and groundwater, most specifically.
Okay, and this is the recommendation you're making for the peer review?
Right, yes.
Okay.
In fact, I drafted this with Dan Van Shelwick over at
Mhm.
DPW, and I showed it to Joanne. Conservation Commission, as a commission, has not reviewed this, but I believe, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, that the chairman may have looked at it. And so, this is a draft, and it could be amended, or, items
Yeah.
deleted or added or whatever,
Okay.
as the planning board sees fit.
Okay.
This is open for discussion?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Actually, Ken.
Oh, is it
go
Ken
ahead.
first?
No, go ahead, Jonathan. please.
Should we, in the scope of work, should we ask anything about the impact of the water levels on the E1 functionality, or is that out, that's an
It's done.
unrelated issue?
We're okay with that.
What's that?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
They'll ballast it, they'll do whatever they have to.
Oh,
put it
so
in
we don't need to
correct.
worry about it.
And DPW is
Okay.
okay with it. but-
All right.
Yeah, and E1's a closed system, just,
Okay.
yep. It's just another piece of pipe underground.
Right.
That should remain
Okay.
waterproof, both in and out.
Especially out.
Mr.
I don't
Disney?
see why the third bullet's there at all.
Which one?
Could you give me the words?
Here
Okay.
zoning bylaw, especially section 10.1, clearing, I think we've got that done on the planning board level. I don't think.
Yeah,
it
that's
needs-
certainly not anything you
I don't
want
think it
to.
has to do with the groundwater
Oxbow
or
Associates to look
at.
stormwater systems at all.
Okay.
And I just want to be careful if we approve
Right.
the first
Okay.
line, which says the Wetlands Protection Act, that conservation is endorsing that. I mean, I don't see why they have to do a wetlands protection act review unless it's under their
Oh, well,
jurisdiction.
no, it's a part of, the Wetland Protection Act as it pertains to this project.
Okay.
Not the intent.
I know it's like a.
Yeah, the consulting won't be, obviously reviewing the Wetlands Protection Act per
But
se.
that's what it says. So that's-
Well, no, compliance with the stormwater management, groundwater hydrology sections below and the
And the
following.
following.
So it's in compliance with those things.
That says in the following.
So, I'm
Well,
gonna
we
weigh
could
in,
change the language a little bit to say,
I'm gonna weigh in on that if you don't mind, Ken, and not to be argumentative, but we currently don't have a conservation bylaw.
Right.
And with the lack of a mention of the Wetlands Protection Act or bylaw, should we have had it? If we had it in place, be an omission.
If conservation's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
Using the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act?
The part that, I
Yes.
just like the language to change, so it says that we're only reviewing the portion that involves with this project. That's all clear.
Okay.
yeah.
And if you took out the words "and the following,"
Yeah, like in the following makes it sound like it's something else.
I'm sorry, okay, the groundwater slash hydrology sections below, colon.
As they apply to this project.
Okay, groundwater slash hydrology sections below as applicable,
As applicable to this project.
as applicable to this project,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
I like that.
It's our intention to make it as hard as we can on you,
I know.
with a smile.
No, that's
Does everybody agree with, we don't need that third bullet? I mean,
I agree.
that's just me talking, so.
You know what, that makes sense?
that was going to be my objection.
Okay, sure. Let's straighten it up.
So that paragraph, that first bullet's gonna read the sentence, and it's gonna finish up as applicable to this project, to the project. And the bullets below will be Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts Stormwater Management Standards. The next bullet is conduct a site visit to verify existing site conditions and proposed conditions. And this is where we're asking the actual peer reviewer to do the site visit, not us.
Correct.
We can join if we want to, okay?
Yes.
With special attention given to stormwater management and groundwater hydrology as described below. Prepare a draft written report in memo format outlining findings, completeness, technical deficiencies and concerns, and attend up to 2 meetings of each of the Ayer Planning Board and Conservation Commission in order to ask questions of the applicant's engineering firm, take questions from the Planning Board and Conservation Commission.
No, answer questions or ask.
Yeah, respond.
Okay, respond to
It's a
questions.
situation where what we want to do is have a dialogue.
I would much rather get a phone call from these guys asking me a question, because I used to do reviews for 12 years for the Maynard Planning Board,
Yeah.
and I always worked with the design engineer, because I'd call him and say, "What do you mean by this?"
Yeah.
Oh,
And he'd tell me, and then it would avoid me writing a paragraph about why I didn't understand what that was.
Well,
And it simplified everything.
yeah, I would hope that would take place. I would also hope
Yeah.
that any give and take between the review and the applicant would be done in the order, again, to move it forward. The
Sure.
peer review person's gonna, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we explain it to them, they understand our thinking.
yeah.
You know, it's not like we're gonna convince them of something they don't wanna be convinced of, but it'll make it easier for them to do their work.
He put language in there that in coordination, that the town planner basically would be coordinating the question, answer between the applicant
Yeah.
and us. So the town planner is involved with to clean it up, make sure there's no,
Mhm.
we want him in the middle.
Well, we want Mark and Joanne at this point
Right.
to be involved with it. So let's
fine.
get through this and let's put the.
Yeah, just so we don't have to wait for a meeting for them to ask
Right,
questions.
they
Yeah.
can coordinate,
Oh, yeah.
they can coordinate the questions and
Right.
That's
the
fine.
analysis of whatever's going on.
Yeah, that's
Hanging
what
out
we
there.
did with Global Montello and niche engineering is, a lot of it was handled in-house, staff time.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We just want to understand that that's what the process is.
Right.
So that you're involved with the whole situation, I guess.
Okay. I would just want to make sure that we can make the meeting schedule that we're going to end up proposing in a few minutes before we get into the meeting, okay? Stormwater management provide a determination as to whether the proposed stormwater management systems will function as intended. The board and commission are especially concerned with the elevation of water table and soil conditions on the site. I think that's the open question why we're having this done. Groundwater hydrology on site review available soil mappings of the entire parcel and soil suitability assessment for seasonal high groundwater. with a focus on soil suitability for home, road, and driveway construction, as well as the performance of the proposed stormwater management systems, including infiltration and wet basins, excuse me. Include in the written report a determination of whether development of the site for the proposed subdivision will affect groundwater and/or other hydrological conditions on the site and abutting residences. And finally, groundwater management and dewatering during construction. Is that a recommendation for groundwater management dewatering during construction? An agreement to a proposed? I was kind of, what's the intent of the last piece?
Oh, well, we talked about dewatering at the last meeting where they mentioned that there are temporary like balloon things
Sure.
that hold the water. It's like, well, is that system gonna be, you know?
We need a submitted scope of work for dewatering and a drawing showing the water.
Exactly. So that's going to be tough, because I read this two ways.
Okay.
And not to be argumentative,
No,
but
that's fine, yeah. That's-
are we going to put together, we don't have the expertise to say, you need to do this kind of dewatering. We're going to ask them to do dewatering, or are we going to ask the applicant to work with the peer review to come up with a solution for dewatering?
Right, that's the latter.
Yeah, the applicant indicated that they were going to provide dewatering.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can provide dewatering
That's
details.
part of the,
I just want to make sure
I
that
mean, understand, we don't specify means and methods for contractors. So when a contractor comes in, he may say, I'm not gonna do it like that, I'm gonna do it like this.
it's a volumetric thing in my eyes.
Yeah.
They do the calculations, how much water is going to run off this, what do you need to have in place in the worst
Yeah.
case scenario? The engineers figure that out. If our peer and you agree, we move forward.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I've seen sites where Connex boxes show up.
Yeah.
Because the agreement didn't work. We had a bad storm.
Yeah.
I've also seen ones with dewatering systems never got used.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those too.
You never know when it's going to rain and how much.
I mean, if we're doing the construction in August and the groundwater table drops 3 feet and we're only going 2 feet into groundwater, we may never need it.
Exactly. So,
And usually that's the intent, is to
we
try to do
can
it.
look at this at our next meeting, we can do it on our own. There is a standard in Massachusetts that was established in 2008,
mhm.
provides you, and we can just require them to comply with the standards of the Massachusetts, Department of Environmental Protection.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably the standard they're going to work to.
Well, they may or may not, depending on
So
the
that-
contractor is.
Yeah. Well,
So,
When they
Mr.
do
Chair,
that-
are you recommending we delete or modify the last bullet on the groundwater hydrology?
no, I just wanted to be clear what it was about.
Oh, yes.
I don't want us as a board to be setting the standards for groundwater
Oh, no.
and dewatering
Yeah.
management.
Yeah, we don't have the expertise.
No.
There is not an extension that will last long enough
Right.
to the process. So,
And I would step back to stormwater management.
yeah, let's, groundwater management dewatering during construction in compliance with industry standards.
And Mass DEP.
Mass DEP
Stormwater
standards.
management standards.
Okay? Okay with you?
In compliance with, could you say that again?
Mass DEP.
With Mass
Stormwater management
DEP.
standards.
Yep.
Thank you. Is that going to be okay with the Conservation Commission, do you believe?
I will let the town planner know.
Thank you. Good.
Can I jump back to?
Yes, please do, Ken.
This is me looking at a lot of contracts too, so.
Mhm.
The stormwater management part, the end of the sentence says, stormwater management systems will function as intended. And that should say something like, in accordance with the design drawings submitted by the applicant or some other instead of intended. It should talk about, more detail than as intended and tie into the design the gentleman's gonna review. In accordance to the, submitted drawings or whatever. And plans and specs and the stormwater reg that was turned in, the report that came to us.
Mhm.
Will
That's what
function as attended.
It's
Will
gonna function,
function
they
in-
submitted it, we're asking the guy basically to look at their stuff
Right.
and say,
Yes.
it's gonna, work in
Function
accordance
as
with the
attended
waivers,
according to the submitted plans.
That's it.
plans and specifications.
I wouldn't even
and-
say as intended, I'd say according to.
Yeah,
the
according
plans.
According to, right.
Will function as according.
My language-
Because
Will
intended is a
function-
very vague
Okay.
In
standard.
accordance
It's in
with,
accordance,
function in accordance with the plan, submitted plans.
plans and the report that came in too,
Mhm.
Stormwater
Yeah.
management.
management report.
Yep.
That's
okay.
really all we're asking them to do.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, I got those
Can you
changes.
get right down?
it sounds like an awful lot of work. It should not be. A lot of this work has been done.
It should work the way it's designed, because they've already done the design.
Okay.
asking him to check.
Okay, will function according to the submitted plans and stormwater management report.
Cal, aside from bullet 3, sub-bullet 3 on bullet 1, is there anything else that came up on this?
No, I think that was my big objection too. I was confused by
Are
that.
we missing anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's what you want to talk about. You want to talk about all those things, the stormwater management, and you wanted to pull groundwater into it, so you did.
Thank you.
So I think that's adequate.
Okay. So that was the second bullet that you brought up, Mark.
Yes.
Do we have to vote, motion or do anything on that?
Yeah, it might not be, I mean, it's certainly, I think, a good idea. The planning board could make a motion to direct the town planner to coordinate with the Conservation Commission on putting this out there and finding a consultant.
And we are going to wait until Conservation meets on Thursday evening to get their input. I'm just thinking logistically.
I think it would be a good idea for all the commissioners to be able to go over this. The chair has gone over it.
Yeah. Oh no. I just want to set some expectations
Yeah.
because we're going to be talking about extension it pretty soon, and we're going to find ourselves jammed up for time.
Right.
And I want to make sure. So you guys will work on this. It'll go before Conservation also.
Right.
And what is the bid process you're going to use, and what's the time deadline you're going to ask? Those are my two questions.
We're gonna try to get it done in like 3 weeks or so, you know, definitely.
You're gonna try to get the report to you by 3 weeks,
Yeah,
which I mean, it only gives you a very tiny
I
window
know.
to bid it.
I know.
So you've got the qualified bidders ready to go, or?
We have some that we've looked at, yes.
We have a short list.
We have a short list. We haven't contacted them yet. But
Okay.
If you put it out to 3 or 4, you might get 1 or 2 back.
That
Yeah, time is of the
sufficient,
essence.
the information
Right.
that you got?
Yeah, I mean, I still like to see what their reply is and what their scope is, so I could respond to it, because,
Yeah, because they're gonna provide us with a scope, but we have
Right,
to sign off,
yes.
or someone
Yeah.
signs from the town.
Yes.
so when that comes in, I'd like to look at that. But
absolutely, yes.
I think it'd be helpful
As
to
soon as
you
we
if I
get
did.
feedback from-
Again, you're getting this before I am most of the time, so it's okay. No, Mark is in
That's all
touch with. We're in touch. But we.
Oh, I'm sure.
We have a town planner now. It used to go through Jeremy.
And, well, believe me, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
No
yeah.
I
comment.
think that's when we met.
Yeah, I
So-
believe in open and fast communication. So
Okay,
as soon
so
as
I'm
we
gonna
get-
very quickly go through this document again with the changes I think we've made.
Yep.
Okay. First bullet. First sentence is going to actually end with the stormwater management, groundwater, hydrology sections below as applicable to this project. The 2 bullets below will be mass wetlands protection, mass to the stormwater management standards. We're going to strike the 3rd bullet. There's no changes to the next bold bullet. There are no changes to the next bold bullet. Am I correct?
Mhm.
The last one,
You gotta rework the
I'm sorry?
language, rework the language in the last
About
one about
questions.
questions and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
But
But
get the town planner involved.
exactly. And as we discussed that, it's interactive.
Yes.
Time is of the essence, so we're going to remain as interactive as we can be
Yeah.
to support the project, to support the whole process moving forward. The next one, stormwater management, we're going to strike the words "will function as intended" and put in "will function as designed." Okay.
Well,
In accordance with the
In
submitted plan.
accordance with the
Good.
submitted.
There we go. Will function. I didn't jot anything down, so
yeah,
thank
and
you.
stormwater management report.
Good. I do not believe there was any changes to the next 2 bold bullets. And the last green sentence, what did we come up with on that?
At the end, in compliance with Mass DEP stormwater standards.
Great, okay.
And it's stormwater management standards.
Okay. Stormwater management standards.
Great. We're not gonna get a chance to retype this between now and we put up, if we're fine with it, let's take a motion.
Everybody's happy with it. Let
Okay.
them go on.
Would someone please make a motion to accept this?
I'm just thinking the right words. I make a motion that we direct the town planner in coordination with the Conservation Commission to
Finalize the scope of work.
Finalize the scope of
consulting peer review
work.
Study.
and seek and find the appropriate consultant to fulfill it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for working on this real time, guys. Okay. We've got a couple other things on Mark's list. I don't know, Calvin, if you have other things that you want to discuss this evening?
Yeah.
We had a lot to do.
I don't intend a long discussion. I just want to make a couple of points on the attorney's reply.
Okay. And then Mark had three other things. Extension of time period, which we're gonna probably work out, hopefully. 5.1 principal uses, and that's on the town council's opinion, so I think we're at town council's opinions. To paraphrase quickly, the opinion of the town council that came back was that Ken, help me with this. The view that we took, that 10.1 and 9.62?
That was 9.6.
That was
Yeah,
9.6. The town council is in concurrence with our view, or with the board's question about 9.6 being applicable for Lane Clearing. Correct?
Right.
Yeah, for the upland portion.
For the upland portion of the project. So, you want to talk about 9.6?
Oh, yeah. So, going through this, the problem I have with town council's response is that she basically contradicts herself in the same sentence. She says, Section 10.17 provides for certain flexible dimension requirements but does not address open space per lot. In my opinion, an OSRD is allowed by right if all requirements of Section 10.1 and subdivision regulations are met. So right then, she's saying an OSRD is allowed by right if you meet, which is exactly what the bylaw says. And then she says, but in my opinion, it doesn't exempt an applicant from all the other provisions of the bylaw, which is a ludicrous statement. You're saying, and Mark had kind of alluded to this, that there's some conflicts. Well, that's a huge conflict. 10.1 says this is the only section that applies. And she says, I agree with that. And let's have a little discussion about what by right means. By right means if you meet if you meet the requirements, the applicant is entitled to approval.
We're actually, we were.
I'm sorry, I'm starting at the, I went through the first thing.
Yeah, I know, you went to the first one.
Sorry.
So,
I'm just taking it in order.
Okay.
So
we'll
by right,
discuss 10.1 right now, okay, guys?
let's do 10.1. Sorry,
Yeah.
let's do 10.1.
Yeah, sorry.
So, because I think that's the crux of the whole thing. So her sentence basically again says, it's allowed by right. By right means if you meet the requirements, you are entitled by law to an approval. So she says that, and then she says, but you can still throw the rest of the bylaw in too. So the problem I have with that is, number one, it contradicts itself in the same sentence herself. But the bigger question is, what that does is it eviscerates the OSRD. It means that if you apply all the other stuff, so you go to your dimensional sheet, and she says, well, the 60% applies. That's on further down. And so does that mean then, and she says somehow she derives that the height requirement applies. I don't know where she gets that from. And then she said,
That's
but
all section 6.
it's all section 6, but so does the rear setback apply, the 25 feet? Does the 20-foot front setback apply? What about the 15-foot side setback? How about the minimum frontage?
But we didn't ask for that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, when you write a bylaw, you have a, not you personally, but you as a board.
We're not taking it personally.
No, please don't. I don't intend it that way. You as a board have an obligation to make it as clear and understandable and clean as you possibly can, and this is not. And when she says you can bring in any other portion of the bylaw that you want, and doesn't make any attempt to explain how that directly contradicts an OSRD by right, subject only to this section and the requirements of the subdivision regulations. She makes no attempt to address that. She just skirts right over it and says, I think you can do whatever you want. She's telling you what you want to hear. She's not doing you any favors. So, and I've reviewed this with our counsel, and he absolutely said, they can't do that. That's crazy. They can't do that. You know, everybody's got an opinion, so whatever that's worth. But, so I want to make that point. And 9.6, I mean, it's basically the same thing.
I'm just gonna stop you for a second. If we ever came up with a bylaw we would all agree on, we wouldn't have planning. But anyway.
Well, no, that's not true.
No, but you do understand that.
I do, but understand.
Planning and zoning is an organic thing, unfortunately.
So I'm just
So
talking
yes.
generally now, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you some framework to think about this in the future when you change your bylaws. If you say, and I suggest if you want more information on this, and I probably won't lay my hands on it right now, but there's a stormwater, here it is. Smart Growth, Smart Energy Toolkit Module Zoning Decisions. It's a document, Mark's probably familiar with it. Has a discussion about by right. And it says, by right uses are uses that the town is very comfortable with. Single family certainly is one of those. And it's uses where it should be the easiest, quickest, least regulated approval process. That's what a by right use is. So understand what you've done with this bylaw, what Judy Barrett led you to do with this bylaw when she wrote it, is she took the most complicated one, made it by right, so that now it's not simple and it's not easy and it's not even by right because you're throwing all kinds of other things at us that's not contained in this document. And she's taken the simple, straightforward subdivision that everybody knew what you got or what you didn't get, and there was very little to discuss about, and made that a special permit. This should be a special permit. Because if this was a special permit, then when you sit down and Mr. Diskin says, I don't like this house in that guy's backyard, it's too close to him, a special permit process, you have every right to do that. In a by right process, you don't. Did we meet the requirements? Did we not? Did we meet the numbers? What is the number, 27? Are we less than that? Yes, you are. Good, you're good to go. That's what a by right development means. So this is not, you're not treating it like a by right, and I understand why, because it's too complicated. This is not a simple process, and if it's going to be by right, it ought to be a simple process. So if you do nothing else, my suggestion would be make this a special permit and make the conventional subdivision, which our attorney also told us is illegal to make it a special permit, but somehow it got through, you know, I don't know. I'm just going, got through the state.
Supposedly it went to the Attorney General.
Suppose.
Model bylaw somewhere.
So that's my frustration with this. This is a by right thing, and we keep getting new stuff thrown at us, and let's change this and let's change that. It's like, wait a minute, this is not a special permit. This is by right. So I don't think your attorney did you any favors. I think she looked at this very kind of in a broad brush. I don't think she read what I had to say. I think she just said, you know what, you guys do what you want. I think you can. You're fine. Go ahead. And I think that is a disservice to you and certainly to us. I just think that's very poorly done. So that's all I want to say about that. I wanted to get that on the record. We did listen to what Mr. Diskin had to say last time, what you guys talked about and what Jonathan said. And can I call you Ken? I'm tired of calling you Mr. Diskin.
Call me whatever you want.
Mr. Disking.
So Ken talked about it the last time, and Jonathan concurred that he didn't like that there was this house on two sides of an abutter's house, which in a special permit you can think about, and by right you can't, but we'll set that aside. So we tried to change it so that we didn't have a house behind this guy's house. And we also said we'll look at the stormwater management and see if we can pull that further out of the buffer zone. And the problem with what you suggested, Ken, is those two lots are uphill. So there's very little use we can make of those and still have stormwater.
So in the two lots I talked about are
Uphill from the stormwater management area. So,
from the stormwater management.
From the stormwater
not
management.
Uphill from the abutters.
no.
Right.
It's uphill from stormwater management area. So we could make some use of it, but the more we dig into it, the steeper the slopes get, the higher they get, and the less it looks like a nice little stormwater area, and the more it looks like a canyon. So we looked at doing some different things. What we looked at is the basin down at the end. We had some open space, but upland. We had some upland outside the buffer zone that we were not using. And I said, why aren't we using that? we should use that. It's outside the buffer zone. Whatever we can put there, we can pull out of the buffer zone. So we did that. And then we also reconfigured the basin that was uphill next to the 2 lots that we're talking about, and used as much of the area that we could use, and said, okay, by doing that, I can still get one of those 2 lots back there, and we can get the stormwater largely out of the buffer zone, not completely, but big difference, and shrink the size of that one. The one down the bottom gets a little bigger. And we also could reroute by some grading. We can reroute more of the drainage down to the end and less away from that. So we feel like that's a compromise that addressed both your concerns.
What about the houses? Did you take away one of the houses, or 2 of the houses?
We took away one of the houses,
We're
yeah.
talking about it,
That
can I
was
see it
about,
for
the discussion was
minutes
about,
purposes?
there was multiple pieces to that, which was, decreasing the density for the neighborhood and, creating more open space that might be usable by people and so forth.
So you had asked that we get rid of both of these houses.
Yeah, I got it.
You had asked that we get rid of both of these houses, and I said, I don't want to lose 2 houses
Right.
if it doesn't further the goals. So this used to come all the way out to here and was bigger.
No question.
That shrunk down. This house in here, we moved this around a little bit, we shrunk this lot down, we made it this guy's backyard. And we will have to deed restrict this so that the house cannot be built back there in order to keep this open from here. But it's part of his backyard. If he wants to put a pool there, if he wants to put a tennis court there, or whatever he wants to do, except tennis court you can't, but a pool you can. Put it there. Although he probably could, he's got enough open space, but be that as it may. But it keeps this guy from having houses all around him, like you had asked for. So I think this is a reasonable compromise.
I'm gonna ask one question. The lot, the next lot over, which goes deep, that's a double deep lot.
It's a double big lot.
No, the next lot on the street, on
Yes.
this road.
Not on
This.
your
No,
property. Nope.
This.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
no,
that lot there
no.
with nothing behind them now.
Yep.
And the lot to your, now move your finger 2 inches to the right.
Yeah, that one.
The building's out front and that lot,
Right.
the back lot is owned by the front lot owner?
That's correct.
Right. And
Okay,
so-
I'm just double
If you wanted
checking.
to take that house and put it back there, we could do that.
He can move his house.
Yeah.
Well, there was as you guys know, these were both parcels on the original subdivision. There were
Right.
2 parcels back here, and they originally were owned by the houses in the front. Somewhere along the line, this gentleman or previous owner sold it to these folks. and,
Right.
They own it.
I just
They're
just
not
making
there.
sure that, so by
Yeah.
moving those houses, that must be west.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Jogging them west, you've taken, you basically removed the,
We got rid of that.
no one's reaching out the window and shaking hands.
No one's reaching out the window, shaking hands. We got rid of this. And by the way, I take great offense to that because this is a subdivision methodology that's intended for density. That's what you're trying to do.
His opinion and ours may not be the same.
I understand that. Thank you. We also did a little bit of rearranging on these lots. We had 3 that were at like 55%. So again, I'm giving in, I'm rolling over. I still think it's the wrong thing to do.
Partway there.
I still think, what's that?
Ken,
I still think it's the wrong thing
we're
to
gonna
do.
get through the evening
But I'm-
without heated words, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely are.
Doing good.
I'm trying
I appreciate
to
it.
facilitate what you guys asked us to do and still satisfy our client. So this is, we made it large, so we could put it up here, but I should just pass it around. But every lot in here has at least 60% open space, okay? It turns out it wasn't a hard thing to do. We were pretty close anyways.
Don't, just on
Think
the
of-
side though, as
We
a
have to
working
pass
for a
around.
developer and so forth for a long time and doing some big stuff. And I always thought just from the beginning that would be a marketing point that you would want to have anyway. Inevitably, you want to have people have a little bit bigger yard. Now, I know the concept doesn't talk about that anymore, it's not printed that way.
Yeah,
okay? But just in taking part of what Charlie said, is that typically people do like a little more space.
I think the times they are changing, is
I'm-
what I've been told.
I'm going to say, because now that the things that I see are being done, and as you all know, I work with some fairly large and fairly successful developers. I have no longer, but I have worked with some fairly large, fairly successful developers. People
want
don't
to-
look out their windows anymore.
Well,
There's no air conditioning outside.
Yeah.
there's no question.
I mean,
this looks
the marketing folks said, the people that are buying these houses now are successful millennials working in towards Boston. They don't want to mow lawns. They're going to have somebody hired to mow their
It's
lawn.
gonna be a
They'll probably put up fences.
Somebody's gonna walk their
Everybody
dog,
wants their
yes.
own little spot of grass in the backyard, and that's all they want to deal with.
Yep.
So, But understand, also, when we started this, we've been pretty heavily involved in traditional neighborhood design with folks here in town hall, and we're influenced by that. So we've got a common driveway here, we've got a common driveway here, we've got a common driveway there. We could put a driveway straight out to this. We could get a driveway straight out to this. I mean, basically, we can do this. Common driveways aren't facilitating the number of lots. They're facilitating small little neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And that's our intent. But I'll tell you, I don't read this to say that we need a special permit for more than one common driveway. But if the bylaw says that,
We already
Actually,
went down that road. We went down that road.
Yeah, town council was of the opinion that because it was not referenced anywhere else in the bylaw, it was sort of a standalone.
There was a little question of timing here that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
evident from Mr. Schultz.
okay, because that's,
He did. He was,
He
yeah.
didn't get the benefit of a couple of meetings that
all
we
right,
already
good, I
had.
appreciate that.
So,
Because I didn't know
yeah,
any place else in the
They
bylaw
do
that
not require
said
a
that.
special permit. They don't.
No, okay.
Yeah.
See, we'll
What they
roll
do
over
is
too.
require approval by the planning board.
I understand
In
that.
all cases.
I understand that.
We'll roll over a little bit too.
Okay. So anyways, so this is our compromise. This is what we're offering, and I think it satisfies to the greatest extent we can do it your concerns with back in here and pulling this out of the buffer zone. That's, this is a slope. When you actually get to the stormwater management part of it, there's a thin sliver that's actually in the buffer zone. The rest of this is going to be a grass slope. So there's going to be very little happening in the buffer zone. Not that there's, again, anything particularly wrong with that.
What's the full depth of that?
How deep is it, 4 feet? I think the max we are is 4
It's
feet.
pretty
at
shallow,
Okay.
storm.
shallow.
Yeah, because I
pretty shallow,
recall
yeah.
it's fairly shallow, and that 4 feet will be
Might be
taken.
3 feet.
That's the size of a weed in July.
Yeah, it's probably gonna
Right.
fill in, it's probably gonna fill in, it's gonna be a wet basin.
Yep.
So you're gonna have reeds in there, and you're gonna just look out over a slope with,
You do
With
realize
bunch
we're
of
gonna
growth.
put a condition on it, you have to keep the loose stripe out of there forever.
yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
That's the,
And even back here, it's not a wet basin, but
Yeah.
it's, with the groundwater as close as it is, it wouldn't surprise me at all that you get a wetland growth in there before it's.
Yep.
And it's not unsightly, it's not, I mean, when you get a wetland growth, you'd rather have that than just have flat grass that's dry and empty and never gets any water. So in an effort to move this along and not get wrapped up in all the things that we disagree with, we thought we would offer this. We'd give you the lot area percentages to satisfy that requirement.
So we did 60% open space on each lot.
Yep,
You're down to how many units total?
19.
Okay.
19 houses, we lost one house.
Mhm.
We haven't yet regraded the road. We're gonna make those changes when we decide that this is the configuration you guys can live with.
Yep.
Then we'll go make the final plan changes, and we'll resubmit a set of plans that has
With the
all those
crown
changes.
road and things like that.
Yeah.
and
Crown
the
road,
stormwater
all the rest
The
of it.
stormwater, the surface water,
Yep.
Yep.
Crown Road, absolutely. we
surface
we
water
understand
stormwater
that.
system that we talked about, okay? Thank you.
And so that, I guess that's what I'm trying to sell you tonight, because I think it's a good compromise.
So 9.6 is off the table at this point.
9.6, you haven't said if you agree with our, we've now got the
Oh,
town.
no, I've said I
council.
disagree with all of it,
Well, we're
but
gonna, it's obviously not gonna win that one. So if we go get the town council, we have the zoning enforcement officer and the planning board that all say 9.6 comes into play.
so
So you're gonna
my,
have to submit a site plan in accordance with 9.6.
well, I'd submit that that's our site plan. We'll submit you an application in
Well,
accordance
yeah,
with
just
9.6.
use it, check the 9.6
Right.
requirements in the paperwork that's associated with it.
We'll do that.
I guess it's
Well,
right.
yeah.
I am actually making an assumption, and I shouldn't go ahead of us, but I think we're probably, you're very, very close.
I would think so.
If not within compliance, look at the check,
Right,
Yeah,
it's just a question of the documentation of 9.6.
Yes.
right, what I would say is we want, a narrative,
Right.
basically a narrative to go with the standards that are in 9.6. And, if you need one more plan sheet to show where some of these things are that address that, that would be just one sheet of that existing plan.
But we'd agree that this is fairly close to being the required site plan in quotes.
Yeah, we just want, a narrative
Yeah.
that shows us that they, thought about the criteria of 9.6 and are attempting to meet it.
Okay.
Yes.
And I just want to point out, there is a narrative that goes with our NOI submittal to conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
pretty
then-
much just covers it.
Maybe you can just
That may-
provide it to us or whatever.
Sure. We'll do the easiest path of least resistance.
Just as the person who takes in the applications and as Marcos reviews them, we need to make sure that if it doesn't meet all the requirements of the site plan application, that waivers are requested and you vote on those.
Right. So we should
Because it is two separate
line up
files.
the site plan aspect of this.
Yes.
Maybe we can do this for July 23rd, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because there's
Get it-
public
Because by
hearings,
that
voter
time, we'll still be
notifications,
waiting
it's
for the
all,
peer review
Yeah,
study.
just
Both
move
of
It's
those
a
will
whole
be in
thing.
progress.
it's a whole nother file, it's a whole nother application
I
that
looked
needs
at
to
it.
be,
Right.
so I'm just making
Yeah.
sure that we
And
don't
are
miss
you gonna
that part.
stand by your offer to waive the application fee? Since
9.6
we're doing everything else you want?
was my offer.
Yeah,
I have a gentleman shaking his head yes.
I think that's reasonable,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Thank you.
I, to be honest with you, Calvin, I don't know what the application fee is.
I don't even,
for a site plan.
Yeah.
500?
It's not a
Yeah.
it's not a
lot.
lot of money,
I think it's
but
500.
You may
Maybe
recall,
fair.
you may recall years ago, I wanted the fees to go way up and no one voted with me, so.
Yes, you guys did.
So, okay, thank you. Anything else you wanted to cover?
not on this plan in particular. I really urge you to look at these bylaws carefully and try and get them in sync, because they are not now.
No, yeah.
And the other thing I would urge you to do, and I don't think you've done it, and I think you'd find it helpful, is contact the person that drafted this and ask her some of these questions.
Don't worry, we've done that.
We're in the process, if I can be so
Well,
as
very
politic,
good.
as
Thank
politic as I can. We're in the process of doing
Well,
that.
I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
And,
Because
and,
that's gonna provide you some intent. That's the thing you're lacking, because you didn't write it.
as you put it so nicely, the zoning bylaw that went into place was well over a decade in preparation. And not a lot of us have been around for longer than half a decade.
And that's a huge disadvantage to you, because
It-
not
it's-
having written it, I know you reviewed it, but until you've
It's-
used it to design something, you
Yes.
don't understand it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And, yeah, and to be fair to Cal, he's got a good point. You know, I recognize, once this application came in, we need to make some adjustments to the OSRD section, make sure it's fully compatible with the rest of the bylaw. I've started that work. We're gonna form a little subgroup to review that on the planning board, and I fully anticipate that in October of 2019, we'll have an amended OSRD section.
Will it go as well as the last town meeting? Yeah, and.
I'd be happy to look at that if you want to send it to me. If
Love to.
you want my input, or if you don't, that's fine too. You'll get it at the next subdivision.
There are a few, honestly, there's not a whole lot of people in this town who've done as much, I mean, I feel like I know you very well now, and it's only because it's been in this room. I think I've run into you once in public, outside of this room.
Right.
And I appreciate the work you've done. Next on my list is an extension of the town. Yes, please.
I just wanna-
10.1.
When do you
No,
need
no,
that
no.
plan by? Is there
If I could have it
difficulty
today,
I'll
that
give
would
it
be
to you before we
fantastic.
leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
But understand, it's not an official submittal, it's just a record of the meeting.
Yes, it's for record of the meeting,
So
yes.
Ken, you have a
Well, do
question?
we want to go back to
Appreciate it.
10.1?
That's why it's sent, for
Or we wanna
review.
just move on? Because there was,
Thank you.
there was another driver behind the questions to the town council on 10.1. Not just the use regulations we're talking about. We're talking about the dimensional regulations as well.
I
agree with
understand.
you that the use is, but there's another whole, the way this is actually written, is taking your side, is that anything could be done here. We could build a high-rise here. We could build a skyscraper here.
I think you're
Under
right.
this particular language, okay?
If it came right down to it in court, a judge is gonna say, build your skyscraper.
Exactly. So what I was trying to clarify as much as possible, because it's the first go-around, is where are the issues here? Are they in the use? They're not, maybe not, but they're definitely the dimensionals, because that dimensional required height regulations as well as, we know the lot offsets were encouraged to be, 10
Right.
feet or whatever they
Yeah.
are. So we never asked her about that. We basically didn't ask the frontage question, and we didn't ask the setback question, because it was covered already. No frontage, 10-foot setbacks, whatever.
Right.
But we were interested
Yeah,
in the height, that's where the height question came up. Because, first of all, if you could build any height, like it says, you can build basically any agreed upon. And the other conflict here is that in one section of the bylaw, we say multifamily is by special permit, yet that basically says, hey, you can build anything. So potentially, we could build multifamily. So that's the kind of clarification that we're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm happy with some of the changes they made, because they made them in 2 weeks, and to me, that's a lot of work, because I've had engineers that had to do work, so I appreciate that. So it was more than just the use question, in my opinion, it had to do with the other dimensional requirements. Looks like we have a pretty good compromise, so may not have to go down any of these roads, and we'll have to figure it out later. as we
Yeah,
go.
I'd certainly rather not go to
Yeah, and again, the bylaw we're currently working with was done in a time when the town was in a very different economic state.
Mhm.
Well, it's-
People weren't coming here to build, people were, and traditional building at the time was a very, very different thing. And if you take a look at some of our larger traditional subdivisions here in town, this was put in place in order to encourage more dense housing.
It's both sides of the coin.
But we have people now, as you
People
so
don't seem
eloquently
to
said,
like it.
people who are coming out and buying property now are a very, very different animal, if you will, a very, very different purchaser than what was available, what was around 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Well, a big part of it, Jonathan and I mentioned the last time
And-
around, this intent
Yes.
of working together, so that's what's happening.
Yeah,
And it's sneaking towards the conclusion.
exactly.
Since we are, Chair?
Yeah.
Since we are sneaking to the conclusion, I know this is gonna sound like totally out of the blue.
Don't say.
Oh, you don't, well, it just is, well, because it looks like we're coming to a drawing that's coming closer to something final. Mailboxes.
Oh, yeah, we have about 4 or 5 other things we haven't even talked to the applicant
Well,
about. Whether we want to do that tonight, Cal?
I don't know. It's
Still other questions?
It's just is something that, I just know eventually
have to
the
do it.
engineers are gonna have to put it on a drawing
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
And so.
You mean a group mailbox instead of individual mailboxes?
Well, as it turns out, we talked to the postmaster there.
Yeah.
And apparently, I think 2016, the feds in Washington, the post office put a law saying we're not going to deliver mail to individual mailboxes and subdivisions anymore. We want to see, they said they want to see, what do they call
We
them?
researched it.
Something box, what do you
Yeah,
call them?
Kiosk or
Community
something?
Yeah, community box kiosk.
Multiple boxes in one location.
And so, that's because they can't afford to hit every house.
I
So they wanted to,
understand.
so what that means now is that there has to be accommodations
So
for some
so
the
you need a
bottom.
location for where that
Right.
is.
Yeah, and
So we actually went around and looked at other subdivisions in town, and everyone that's been built just about, I think, we saw every sidewalk, every planting strip, and every mailbox location. And it looked to me to us, I thought, the best conclusion was up in the 40B, where they actually put it way down by the cul-de-sac,
in the cul-de-sac.
rather than at the front where you had to squeeze the road.
Exactly.
So that you could actually stop in the cul-de-sac with the boxes on your left, and it was actually pretty close to 60% of the houses in the short street they were on.
And it,
So we need to ask the applicant to research that location, because it will become a long-term problem for you.
and the other
All right,
thing
so we gotta
too,
find a
Kyle,
spot-
is
find a
that
spot for a
if you-
mailbox.
the thing that was nice about the cul-de-sac solution is that in other places, if you put it at the entrance, then you have to accommodate some kind of pullover space too, so that it
Yeah,
becomes more
Yeah, I
complicated,
think
whereas
the
this
entrance
is
is a
simple.
bad place, because I think
Well,
that's,
It's more
that's-
private.
I mean,
yeah,
everybody
private.
drives by it, so they figure you'll stop there, but if you get queuing
Yeah.
out onto
You have a
Littleton
mess.
Road, you're gonna have
Or
a disaster,
that-
so you can't do that.
Yes, and for all, and it's also more highly trafficked, et cetera. So the one that we saw that we liked the
We thought
most,
it looked like a good solution.
they just put it on what it would have been dead space anyway in the cul-de-sac where it's slow.
In the middle?
Yeah. What was it like?
If
just
I may.
design- I'm sorry, no, that's the
They're
design.
called
like-
MBUs, mailbox, etc.com, MBUs. And I can send you dozens of.
Oh, I know what they look like. I
Yeah,
just-
but, no, exactly what you're talking about. They actually become focal for the community.
That's what I was just thinking, I mean,
And-
get people out and walking
It was
instead of jumping out of their
And
car.
you put them in a place where 1 or 2 cars might work, but no.
It was very good.
And
I had the idea, we went over and visited him, and it was
And the
almost
big-
shocking what he said.
And the big challenge is
Mhm.
lighting them in the evening.
Well, are we talking about street light at the end of
Well,
this?
it'll work.
Right. just put the street-
So, this
Yeah.
is just,
But you still gotta be
I've
able to
had to
read
solve
the-
this problem on about a dozen condos in the last 7 years.
Yeah, okay.
Because kiosks, MBUs were built on pedestals and stuff like that. By the way, pedestals will eventually, galvanic corrosion happens and they will fail. So, but that's okay. you want to have some lights, otherwise, because at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in February, you can't see your mailbox. And everyone brings their car in and turns the lights on. And it becomes an issue for the neighbors. As they're sitting in their house in the afternoon, people come in, flip the high beams on, and go to the mailbox.
Well, it's tricky.
Sorry guys, but this is personal experience. And the other side of the coin is, the mailbox units become a focal point. They walk the dog to get the mail,
I
stuff
did
like
that.
that.
When we
Okay.
talked
I
to
walked
the,
to it.
And it's our big developer friends who have created this need.
he
Was it a little
basically
house?
said, the postmaster basically told us that this is a continuous problem, that no developer thinks about it in advance, and they're always stuck with it at the end. So if we can get it done during the
That's why I
process.
brought it up, just
Okay,
solve it
that's
now,
good.
it's simple.
I'd rather know
We
now.
don't have to deal with it later, and
Yeah.
then, right, it's all done, it's
So
simple.
you can very, very quickly look up the costs and what they needed.
Okay.
It's a small.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a big deal, no.
It's not at all.
So my other,
Sorry, I actually have a question, yeah.
Yeah, so with the mailbox in the middle of the cul-de-sac in mind, would we end up having to put it back the curb?
yeah, he won't allow it in the middle of the cul-de-sac.
No, it wasn't in the middle, it was on the
It would be,
edge.
it would be off the
It's
edge.
It's on the edge.
It's gonna be on the outer edge.
Yeah, so you don't even
Mark
have to
could go
worry about it.
crazy
Just
if
off
we
the-
No,
put
it's
a
not the
mailbox
middle,
in
it
And-
was just a
and you
figure of
wanted-
speech, it's
Yeah.
on the,
But
Gotcha.
honestly, where the sidewalk is gonna be,
exactly.
because the sidewalk becomes the buffer between the two places. And it becomes something that's annoying that they have to shovel, but let them figure that out.
Right, that's just
It's
something.
not
to
our,
do.
that's, I mean, we're not
So,
gonna go that
let's,
far.
let's combine that discussion with snow storage and plowing.
Yes.
So as you come down a cul-de-sac like this, you're dumping snow all the way along, it's going into the grass strip, that's snow storage all the way along.
Mm-hmm.
They make this turnaround here, the plows typically dump off the plow as they make the turn. So it's pushing, 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 but then all of a sudden they make the sharp turn and boom, you get a big dump right in
Wiggle
here.
on, what do they call it?
And they pick up some more and then they come around and plow the rest of the way back. So we're looking at in big storms, that's probably your snow storage.
Yeah, we were gonna talk a little bit about the grading on inside the cul-de-sac, because the original plan, I think, just showed a line going across, it wasn't.
Well, we're still playing with the grading, but we've got to get it to grade to where our catch basins are. We can't have dead
Right, I
spots.
understand
Yeah.
that, but
So where the snow storage will be on a probably 1% pitch that as it melts, it'll work its way across and yeah, you may get some refreeze in there and there's nothing we can do about it. But, you know, the rest of the road's going to be crowned. But that's just, when you do a crowned road, it makes it a lot more complex when you get into the cul-de-sac, to grade it
yeah,
right.
then you got a super elevator.
Yeah, so you got a super elevator to play with that, so we're still playing with that, but, so my offer for snow storage is gonna be, in big storms, they're gonna wanna plow down to here and dump in the middle and then go around, so they're not dumping in somebody's front yard. And so they're not dumping right on the mailbox.
And ultimately leave a snow pile in the middle.
You have a
of the
snowplow in the middle of the road, it
Yeah.
melts over time and then it's gone.
And,
And if it's a real big storm, they store it there, they come in with a dump truck and a loader and they load it out, but that's gotta be
it always sounds so easy.
Who's that?
DPW.
DPW.
Okay.
DPW, yeah. And
Go with the big
and
front
that's,
loader, dump it in the
I'd like to have Mark just, technology's changing for doing snow plowing, but not on that scale.
So going through the rest of Charlie's stuff, can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So sloping away from the foundations, yeah, we're definitely gonna do that. Hates the OSRD, got it.
I thought
Snow
we-
stockpile in the middle,
Yeah.
got that. Snow buildup at the front of the road, I honestly, I mean, how far are we, like 15 feet in before we hit the crest?
10 feet.
10 feet in, so off the edge of pavement, we've got about 10 feet here before we hit the high point.
Mm.
So any snow that's dumped on a plow going down this road
Let's go back.
is
to the
still
road.
gonna be well in that 10-foot area.
Mm.
It's not gonna get thrown far enough down here to then drain down the roadway this way. So that's kind of a non-concern. I mean, even at
I wanna
30.
follow up on something before I forget it, sorry, and it's on the same topic. The DPW has not got back to us, now Charlie was slow to get back to us, but the DPW has not got back to us. Remember, the DPW requested that a catch basin be added on Littleton Road, and you objected
Right.
vehemently to that. They want that catch basin, I can tell you right now.
Well, if they need that catch basin, they've got to put it into their drainage system. It can't go
that's-
down our
So
road.
that's where the controversy is gonna come up. So that's hanging.
Yeah, I understand that that's hanging.
There's a couple of DPW things we talked about, you objected to.
Oh, yeah,
They didn't get back to us.
okay.
So just to let you know, I think we asked them that separately on some meeting we went over with them.
I know you haven't done the engineering on this, but if a copy of this plan is available, even in its format, to get to DPW so they can start thinking about it, that would be helpful. When we went from,
I'm
This
real
part doesn't-
reluctant to send
Yeah.
progress
Or-
prints that were, I mean, they get used for things they should never get used for.
okay, I'm thinking of only the positive side.
I would have no problem having us go and talk to the DPW and explain
Whatever the
it.
solution would
I'm
be.
fine with that.
Yeah.
That's why I said this is a record of the meeting only, it's not any
Yeah,
kind of
right.
submission.
But basically what happened, what I don't want to have happen is we went from preliminary to 20 to a second set of plans. Everyone's busy. They didn't get across town. I don't want that to not happen again.
Okay.
Okay? Because Mark wants to do his job and get it done. Mark and Dan want to do their job and get it done as quickly as possible and do the best job for us. And sometimes we don't want to slow them down by not making sure, like, want to make sure they have the information.
Right,
And so that's, I'm just trying to be as politic as I can in that conversation.
understand,
We have a very this is a very complex little project,
understand.
so
Yeah.
we've gone a long ways. So, okay, Charlie's other points.
So, opinion on common driveways, we already talked about that. OSRD, now, yeah, I got it. I don't agree with it, but I got it. The waivers, he's okay with the 40-foot. He
Well, we
wants
did
the
the
trees the way you
We did
do.
them, right,
We did
last
the
meeting. we
waivers.
did.
You didn't
Yeah.
realize we did.
So the 2-foot sidewalk,
Done.
that's done,
We
right?
did that,
Okay,
and
good.
you had the information available to you.
Yeah, we've got that. Okay, so I guess I don't have anything else on his to talk about.
I'm just gonna double check, 40-foot sidewalk, trees, elevation of Littleton Road, section 10.1 to 2B, 9.6.2, disagree with the RCD. No stone French drains, which you're not gonna do anyway. That's basically it, leaving his opinion out.
So where did you come down on the waiver on the sidewalks? Where did you guys come down on? I forget.
I believed we extended the sidewalk and increased the width of the planting strip.
And shifted the center line out of the center line of the right of way.
Yeah.
So it's
There's a dis-
sidewalk on one side, not on the
Sidewalk
other
on one side
side.
that goes a little farther
Trees on
around.
both sides.
That
or-
might help you with the kiosk, I don't know where.
It definitely will.
It might help you, give you more options with the kiosk.
Yeah, so it might be right at the end of that sidewalk
Right.
going around the cul-de-sac, sitting.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you in a second on that, so,
Yeah.
just a quick question. But I just wanna back up Charlie, he wasn't privy to the stuff that we had discussed at the other meeting, so he was doing the best he could with.
Yeah,
with
I understand.
That's it.
But DPW was the one that really owes us this, we had some give and take from you to them, and we wanna get that resolved. But I was gonna ask a question just again. Would it behoove us to look at putting the sidewalk on the east side of the road? So the end of the road where you've got the sidewalk turning, excuse me, on the west side of the road. You've got it discharging to the east where there's nobody really going that way. But if it was discharging to the west towards the center of town, to me, it would be a better approach for someone who wants to
Oh,
walk
at the end,
down.
you're talking at
The
the
very end
end.
of the street.
Put it on this side,
Put it on the west side, so
on the west side.
you've got it curved on the end facing east where there's no one gonna walk. But if it would move to the other side of the street,
Sidewalk to nowhere is what you're
the
saying.
sidewalk,
So where
Yeah,
would
so
you-
So the sidewalk would run
Across
down
the
down
street.
this side and then wrap around the
Just
cul-de-sac.
draw it right on there, we're just gonna put that in there, plant anyway.
you were showing the sidewalk over here.
Yeah, it goes showing over here, goes around and ends here.
That it was, so the end was going this way,
Yeah,
towards, no place.
So
But
let's say we do have it over here and it's just
yeah,
wrapped.
if it was on
around.
this
Where would you
side,
have it
then,
in?
oh,
I-
I guess you just bring the same detail around, so you fill it around the cul-de-sac or something, but the idea would be that people are typically gonna walk downtown this way, or to McDonald's or something,
Yeah.
where I didn't think anyone would go that
Your
way.
easement to
It might be a
the
sidewalk that they don't,
Upper
Can
Basin
you just
Main
do me a
Street,
favor,
Place
just because I have to put
MBU.
these in, and I have to write these minutes
That's
while
fine.
you guys aren't
Excuse
getting them, could you draw that on there so I can
Well,
reference it
just
during
ask
the
them.
meeting?
They'll-
I understand if it's part of the meeting minutes, and with you blocking the plans and saying east and west, I have no, just
Yeah.
West
draw
is
it on
west.
there real
Draw
quick.
it on the,
okay.
if you
Just,
want.
it
them in
makes it
minutes,
easier
that
for me to
way.
write
I don't wanna
these,
do it with a
otherwise
pen.
I'm sitting there taking
So it's gonna
8,
go-
10, 12 hours
It's gonna
writing
go down
minutes.
this way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah,
And the other-
Because 10 years from now, no one's gonna understand what you're talking
I
about.
understand what, yeah.
Except for me.
I understood what you're talking about.
The only other
We
clarification
hope.
I'll mention on the sidewalk was that we were actually told that the side, you probably know what the sidewalks had to be 5 feet for
Yeah, for
ADA.
ADA, right?
So there was a mention of a 4-foot sidewalk, but we concluded that you guys were correct to show a 5-foot sidewalk.
Yes,
And that's an
Right.
ADA
It
requirement.
Yes.
is, yep.
So we had no option on it.
right. Thanks for the clarification, I was wondering that, thank you.
But I would assume that ADA requirements would come from DPW.
Well, these guys are familiar with it,
They know it
and the
also.
curb cuts and the angles and the shapes of the
Yep,
entrance.
and the way you get into them from
All
the
that stuff.
road and all the rest of it.
Okay.
So,
I do want to mention that there is an issue of, we were asked to put in a curb ramp at the front here so that, there's a possibility of crossing over to here. But if we put the curb ramp on this side instead, you're going to an opening for driveways for, I'm not sure what kind of development it is over there.
It's apartments, right?
Yeah.
That might actually
Be nice.
not be a bad thing.
So, we can definitely do that.
And I'm not sure, who asked us to put a road crossing here, because that's not normally
yeah, I
something
didn't have that either.
I don't believe we made the request.
Oh, were you anticipating that
A
would happen
crosswalk.
as a result of the sidewalk?
Yes.
You're saying a crosswalk?
Let me check on that. I thought someone at one point had requested that to be put in.
Right.
Might have been DPW.
I can tell you right, you have
It would be the
requested
first
crosswalk, and you
compliant
never get
crosswalk in the town of Ayer.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do that,
Yeah.
no. Can't help it, but okay.
You'd throw everyone off.
I'm sorry, I
No,
didn't,
it's-
I should have said crosswalk, should have been a curb ramp.
Yeah, but you'll if you spend enough time in here, you'll find out curb ramps actually have telephone poles in the middle of them.
Not this one.
No, but we got them.
I'm sure.
Just like mailboxes in the middle of sidewalks.
Well,
Sidewalks.
That's why this is a good discussion.
Okay.
So,
Ken, did you go
here's
ahead?
here's my next request. I need some indication from you that this is an okay configuration, because then we need to start working on the plans to fix it, getting our stormwater to adhere to this, so we can generate a new stormwater report that we can give to the consultant ASAP.
In DPW.
And the question with the DPW out front with the
Yeah,
stormwater.
answer them
Yeah.
ASAP.
I know they've got a stormwater system in this area. That, if anything, that should be what's picking this up, and if what he's trying to do is to pry a catch basin out of us to go into his own stormwater system, that's one thing, but we can't bring it down into our subdivision.
Because you calculated that.
We're not draining Littleton Road into our detention basin. That won't happen.
Okay. So.
So my guess is it's more the former than the latter. Latter than the former, I don't know, the first one.
Just not having water pooling at the entranceway to your subdivision
Yeah.
versus picking up the
And,
stormwater.
but, there's a grade going down that road, so anything that happens at the front of that subdivision could continue to run down the curb,
Yeah, exactly.
or the grade, or the edge of the road, or whatever.
And your road pitches
So we'll
back.
talk to him about that. too.
Those guys. So, an indication that this is an acceptable plan, is the request you just made.
The layout of the
The
plan.
layout of the plan. So where we were a couple weeks ago was a larger wet basin out front. We now have a reconfigured section there. The buildings that were sitting in, the conversation about you will now be looking out your back door at another home, I believe have been mitigated to the extent that they can be mitigated if buildings remain there. You're still showing 2 buildings there and one will disappear, or is that all?
One
of
building.
it?
It's got 19
One
buildings.
I can't, oh, that's a garage and a house, I'm sorry.
That's one building, this one's gone,
Got it, thank you.
and the lot with it.
Okay, so that would mitigate that.
And one other point to make, when we gave you the 60% for each lot,
Mhm.
we also redid the calculations, Huck did it. For the percent open space, then under this configuration, it's 55.84%, slight reduction because we used some more of the open space a little bit to expand that basin down there. But our percent open space excluding BMPs is still above 50%, 50.6%. So we're able to keep with that requirement,
Okay.
even though it's not a real requirement.
I'm on board with endorsing this, but I would have to walk up there one more time
Yeah.
with members
make
of the
sure you
board,
do.
that's all.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to vote it, we're just
Yeah,
saying,
I'm just gonna-
if everybody's,
Go ahead.
Let's
walk
let's
here.
look at
Look
it.
at it
I
one
mean,
more time.
yeah, I mean,
Move it out. Do you want to give us any more of an explanation while we're getting ready here?
So
Julie?
Listen,
with the expansion of the infiltration basin back here as well as the sediment basin, we had to put in a drainage swale coming across here, just picking up all the drainage back, behind these houses.
Okay, so that's moving.
So now they're no longer going into this basin, they're going to this one.
Okay.
So by doing that, we were able to, pull that back as well as pull this back and use up more of the space back here.
But that was the
Swale,
open
we
space you
mean
were
a
talking about, was this little
Yes.
corner back here?
it
Right.
was actually right here.
Oh, okay.
We actually used both this one and that.
That was the previous one. Instead of making it number. Wow, this is a very good one.
Yeah, that was just like.
We had a space right here, I guess we have a space right
So this is
Okay, so we got it for that. And then you pointed out the number of common driveways.
there. So it's still the same number of common driveways, we have a common driveway there, we've got one here, we've got one here.
And then there's still a length that's okay with fire department?
Yeah,
The longest length we have is right up at to 150 feet. So we're not required that turn around.
That was 150 requires the turnaround.
These are paired up, these are paired up, this
Okay.
guy's back
that
here.
150 required the
This has got his
turnaround.
own, this has his own.
They're not gonna exceed 150.
Oh, they said 250.
And there's
No, they said
mitigation, if we
one-
do
oh,
exceed
it's-
150, there's
garage
mitigation.
Okay, wait a
Yeah.
minute. No, she heard
lower
it.
than the house elevations now.
And then on the land,
Right, because before there was that issue.
I know fire code.
That you resolved that already.
and you switch some of the garages now from,
To make it
We
shorter,
have only,
get them cut down on paving or.
and fill.
So if you could help me read the cul-de-sac portion, is this a change in elevation in the circular area? Is that what this is looking
So
at?
the hard line, anytime you see a hard line, that means it's the same elevation all, at every point on that line. So 275 starts over here,
Oh, I get it now.
comes up to
Okay.
here, it's 275 all the way across to there, it goes back down this way. So that part of it is all the same elevation, which
This whole
means,
section here, this is a little bit
which
higher.
means to this side of it, this is a little bit higher, to that side, it's a little bit lower. Yeah.
Got it, that's what I was looking at.
and this is all gonna change once we put in the Crown Road, it's just gonna pitch.
So we don't compromise.
I like the fact that I can see
Oops.
what the garages are and the house elevations and understand that better.
So when we, we're gonna talk to the developer, and we're gonna say, you got high groundwater in this. The owner's was already willing to say, I'm not gonna do any basements anywhere, but in some cases, back in here where it makes sense, we do basements,
Right,
because it
because
cut
you
down the
can't-
amount of fill.
Right, otherwise.
And it's an amenity, why wouldn't you do it if you can? So we'll do it where we can, but we're not going to do it where we're 4 or 5 feet into groundwater, because that's just begging for trouble.
Is there another, see how you've got the cloud, for the tree
Yeah.
line, that's after it's cleared? Is
That's
the one
right.
that, what is the, I'm just curious where the existing one is, it's down in here, I think. That was part of the concern too, of course, to cut down on trees that cleared.
So it comes
Yeah,
across here.
okay, it's about halfway across those lots.
Right.
So this, Blasio, he doesn't really have a thing. And this sex house is up here.
Right.
So there's a possibility of that
There probably could
edge
be
of
some-
that tree
yeah,
line being dressed up or
Could be.
staying it, screening wise.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about any screening over here, so it's really only these guys.
Right.
Well, I'm good with it. Oh man, this is even.
Going back to your bylaw, I just had one other thing, Mark, that I wanted to suggest to him when you're redoing your bylaw. That just occurred to me, I just went after looking at that.
Sometimes you don't know when to stop. Go
I
ahead.
know. But and I mentioned this once a long time ago, but you also need to look at the road and the road requirements and the length of the road and those kind of things, because there's gonna be some OSRDs that would work real well if they're 800 feet off the main road.
Yes.
We're waiving that sometimes.
You know, so, and
There-
the
there-
width of the road and all that kind of stuff. I mean, certainly the width of the road's gotta get fixed.
And-
36
and
feet
so
is nuts,
That's the
but.
narrative.
So I'll respond in the most general terms we can. If this was a 10-acre parcel and a road had to go all the way in here as a common driveway to get back into this open space, in many ways, that's a model we've seen, and you've seen it also.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
sure.
model from Western
Exactly,
Massachusetts. You know, leave the green space out front, put the people in the back, let them all share. So the answer is yeah.
But the more that you can do in the bylaw
Yeah.
that's clear and doesn't require you to waive a subdivision width and all the rest of it, the more useful the
Too
OSRD
bad you're
is.
not a town resident.
Say what?
You don't live in town, do you?
No, I live out in the
Too
States.
bad. We could always, switch sides of the table. Thank you.
Hey, I've
So-
been there. I was a chairman for 5 years in Harvard when I lived there. I know
That's a
exactly
tough
what
one.
this is all about.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
tough one.
And
So,
Concom before that, so.
You didn't know that we were revising the subdivision regulations.
I
Oh,
do-
yeah,
You
we're
didn't
working
realize.
on the subdivision
Yeah.
regs too, yes, but we have to re-review.
Well, that's gonna be
Guys,
part of
I'm
the
gonna
subdivision.
keep us
Yeah,
focused.
so we put the subdivision,
Yeah,
that's what we'll
Thank
put the
you, Jeff.
coordination in.
I'm gonna keep us focused. We have more to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that we don't wanna spend all the time we
I got
can
it.
with ECAL.
I got
Extension of the time period. 8/8 is the magic date.
Yeah, so we're gonna go 2 weeks past your next
Yeah.
meet, past this, into your second meeting, whenever
Our
that
second
is.
meeting is the 20.
23rd, I think.
I
Yes,
believe it's actually the 27th,
27.
I believe so.
No,
Let's
we
take a
gotta-
let's
we
figure out
gotta
let's
check
figure out
on
when the
that.
second.
Yeah,
meeting
I'm
in August
checking
is.
right
Second meeting in August is
now.
fine,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Check on the date.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I do wanna do it meeting by meeting like that. I don't like to give
Yeah,
a big
the-
long
so we need-
extension. I wanna just go
Yes,
meeting by
27th.
You guys are gonna get the work done.
You're right.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
we have to get the
He's flogging me. He wants the work done
no, you guys
tomorrow.
gotta get the work done, and I think we've mitigated a lot of the concerns
Yeah.
at this point. Don't know what else will pop up, but
Okay,
we worked through a bunch of hard stuff, so we'll work through it.
good. I appreciate that.
So what's the date, Heather?
So 27th.
27th.
So at this
Yeah.
point, if we would have entertained an extension to the 27th, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
How do we take care of that? Do we just?
It would be good to get a written letter to that
Yes.
effect.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we can go.
Are we okay with the 27th?
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
I didn't understand what was
Yeah.
agreed that this plan is gonna be, we're proposing this plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Barring anything that DPW, when the engineers get to look at it, that's something you're gonna have to, I think that's what I was just saying to Cal is, there may be something, the devil's in the details, there may be a detail that we haven't thought through, we can't do it in a meeting, but we'll work. You know, but we gotta get into what we can do, stormwater calculations, the hydraulic stuff, work's gotta get started, Mark's gotta get started, so. And you guys got Thursday night. I don't get to come to the town hall on Thursday night. Lucky me. Okay.
So are we gonna be continuing
Yeah, we're gonna-
meeting by meeting?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
We're gonna
yes.
continue. So
Continue the hearing.
I have not opened up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this evening?
No.
Thank you. What I'm going to do is ask for a motion to continue this portion of the meeting, which is to the public hearing on the proposed subdivision 50.2 Road 2019 lots. Can I have somebody make that
So
motion?
moved. Yes, to
Thank you. A
continue.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
there.
Thank you very much.
All right, Julie, I'll let you.
I had asked to do that for many times. I'm trying to step up. I can say the word seconded now.
Can I have a minute?
Yeah.
Can we take a minute?
Thank
It's
you.
over in the hallway.
Appreciate that. One quick comment on this, to Mark tomorrow, whether in the regulations, I believe it states the planning board regulations that any revised plans are to be received within so many days so that the board, the other departments can review. I would hate to get these
You
and have
review my
more.
time, what am I saying?
No,
That's
that's
all.
that's all right.
So he doesn't have enough time.
I
to-
like
You'd be surprised how much
Just as a heads up.
how
As soon as we get
Okay.
them, we'll get them right to Mark. as soon
Okay,
as we get 'em
that's,
done.
if you want to give him
That's-
directly to him, that's
Yeah.
fine. I
No, that's
just, I'd hate
very
to be
good
like in the
point.
peak of construction season and be like, oh, by the way, you have 5 days to review this in 2 weeks, you know?
No, I know, but
Right.
I
No,
Just
that's a
making
good-
sure.
I do
good
very
point.
good
Thanks,
at
I
auditing
appreciate
I know
those.
it's
Not
in
my
there, and I'm
purview.
like-
I stay out of.
Yeah, no,
But I
that's.
would
Very
love
good.
to see. I
Thank
know
you.
it's
Can we pull that one plan
Yeah,
out?
just that one sheet, yeah, so I can have it with the meeting minutes.
We weren't at the meetings, but inspections and stuff.
They must shut the air conditioning off when you start your hearings or something.
No, it's broken.
Oh, no.
Oh, lovely.
Tell me.
We should have the meetings upstairs in my office. It's only 95
Yeah,
or
I
so
bet.
degrees right
Yeah,
now.
it's,
Probably warmer than
You
that.
guys are pounding all the brakes.
I was like, if you didn't give it to me now, I'd walk to your office and get it tomorrow. I'm sure you have nice air conditioning. I'm gonna just hang out. I know where your
Actually,
office is.
we did have nice air conditioning, except for 2 or 3 of the hottest days last week when my office had none.
It was 90.
And it
It was
was like-
87 in my office
brutal.
Friday. We left at 1 and it was 87. And I had 3 fans and an air conditioner going.
We were convinced the air conditioner was broken, and then I started looking at it,
Couldn't
and I
keep
had
up. It was
to, I
just
had
too
to
hot.
stay till 7:30 one night, and at 7 o'clock in the evening, the air conditioning kicked on, and it was like 60 degrees. And I said, the timing is off. The guy put AM instead of PM, and that's sure enough. That's exactly what he did when he programmed it, so we fixed it.
Goodness.
and
Oh,
now it
that's
works.
good. Thank you for this.
Okay.
I'm just writing the
All right,
date
good night.
on it.
All
I
right,
know,
thank
it's
you.
just a
Thank you,
concept.
Cal. Good night.
Good night.
Julie, you only missed one meeting, right?
Yes,
So she is able to vote on this, right?
Yes.
and I
Right.
listened and
Yep.
I watched it.
Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that good for you or bad?
That's good for us.
Okay,
Oh, I want the more board members, as many as possible, so.
I'm here.
An issue, but thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Have a good night.
I hope the rest of the meeting goes quick. It's hot, isn't it?
It is. And I know Ken has had a very long day. I'm sure the
Oh,
rest of
yeah.
you have as well.
Yes, basically sweating it out on the 3rd floor. Even though we have little AC units in our windows, it still is, you know. hot.
He's been out with high schoolers renovating a
Oh, yeah, I
house.
heard, yeah, that's incredible.
It's a great program.
Ken and John.
Yeah, Ruth.
Thank you, let's reconvene.
I'm wearing a shirt today, the Mission Days shirt for St. Mary's
Mark?
and St. Anthony's.
You guys
Yes.
gonna get something done stuff?
I believe
Yes.
Joanne may have left her.
And so they had
okay.
17
Is
kids
this
today.
Joanne's?
I think
And
so, yeah.
Ken was
'cause she
helping them
sitting
work on one of the big
outside.
projects in
She
town,
did that
but
once before.
It's a great service
not going
project
to
and a
open
great
it
way
to
for the
find
kids
out.
to all
I
learn
will,
stuff.
yeah, I'll put that in my box and I.
Soliciting
Excuse me,
projects.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Joanne.
Maybe,
Yeah, well, we're trying to spread
Is
the
this
word
Jo-
too on the
is
good.
this
That is
Joanne's?
Joanne's, yes
Okay,
it
good.
is.
Actually, Heather, I should leave this with you because you probably.
I don't know if she'll come back looking for it.
Do you
but
want me-
I'll
I
bring
can-
it upstairs when I go up.
All right,
Yes.
well, I'll leave
Would
it
you
on
like me to
this-
tell
to
Jess?
your spot.
Would Jeff be able to tell Joanne?
I believe I may be able to.
I'll work
Yeah.
on that now. Jeff, you run the meeting, I'll tell
Okay,
you.
Yes,
great,
that's-
because I may have Joanne's number.
I
Okay,
got it
so,
right here.
next thing on our list is the draft subdivision regulations. Given the hour, it's 8 o'clock. I do want to give everything its due, but I also want to make sure we get through the rest of our agenda for this evening.
Yeah, and the DPW superintendent has those. He's been, he's been away this week, so he has not had a chance to comment on those. But a thought I had is that we should, even in their somewhat imperfect form, I'm sure they will be amended some, it probably behooves us to have it reviewed by council just for compatibility with the Mass General laws for subdivision control, and they can give it a legal review. So I'm going to set that in motion.
Would you make sure you talk to Carly about that?
Yes.
Good,
yes,
thank you.
is that-
Great.
I'm not on board with that. I disagree.
With the legal? The legal
I
before
thought-
the
yeah.
technical details?
No, I
or-
thought the legal, yeah, before the planning board.
Oh,
I
before,
just don't
okay.
think the sequence is right.
All right, well,
I mean,
Okay.
the task of the last meeting you asked me to do was to come back and say, give us some priorities of what sections we could look at.
Exactly,
As a
yeah.
board,
Ah, okay.
individually on our own.
Mm-hmm.
So I did
okay.
take a look at that.
Oh, you did, okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Thank you.
So I was gonna, and this is.
Well, I'm glad you
not-
guys aren't talking between meetings. It's a good thing.
This is not easy stuff for some, may not be easy for all the members of the board, but if everyone's been given the email of the stuff, right? I don't know if you've got hard copies or not, if you could maybe print a hard copy for each board member so they can make notes on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had before, but
And
yes.
I was just gonna recommend, Mark, if you agree that, what I thought were the priority areas, which might be the toughest areas, but they're gonna be section 4, 6, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. because one is authority and purpose and then the definitions and things like that, and there's a lot of technical stuff that I think between Mark, Dan, and the DPW, we'll
Get that hashed
cover.
out.
All that stuff
Yep.
that he mentioned about cross-sections and widths, that's all in the tables that we've got in here.
Yep.
And there may be individual questions about them, but 4 is the big one, and, excuse me, 6 is the big one, because that's the longest one, which talks about all the requirements to submit,
Technical.
and all the stuff we can require people to give us
Mhm.
to. So my suggestion was of the number of sections that are there, if the planning board in the next couple of weeks, maybe in the next month, could at least look at those
Okay.
3 sections
Mhm.
as the priority
So
sections.
4, 6, and 7.
4, 6, and 7.
Okay.
And then bear in mind that, just as an aside, okay, 7 includes the cross-section details of the road construction, which Mr. Goldsmith brought up, but we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a table, I'll just show you the table, she's just sitting right next to me, but the example of the table talks about, I think it's 5 different kinds of streets that we
Mhm.
talk about in the table. A major street, a second street, a minor street, a private street, and then common and shared driveways. So we cover those things in this table,
Mhm.
and that'll get resolved. But and some of this, again, needs to be, we need to check it on the distances and stuff, but that was my recommendation, that at least the planning board, we go through those 3 sections, come back at a subsequent meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and then just run through them, one section
idea.
at a meeting.
Mhm.
So we do section 4 at one meeting, we do section 6 at a meeting, we do
Okay.
section 7 at a meeting. And then that'll clear like 90% of what the whole subdivision regulation is involved. you know.
Okay.
And it probably,
Thank you.
I'm gonna guess that it'll take us, it's gonna take us a good half an hour to 40 minutes as a board to just do each section, or maybe
Okay.
more.
I
But
think you're being, you may be underestimating.
it
but
could be
that's okay.
underestimated, but the reason I'm saying that is because try to have confidence that Mark Ashambo and Dan Van Shelwick have looked at it already, and by then DPW will have looked at it.
Yep.
So the fact that, we're asking for whatever the dimensions are, what the depth of gravel is,
Mhm.
we don't have to, you don't have, the board, I'm speaking out of turn here, but
No, you're
I'm
not.
speculating that the board will not have to concern themselves with those levels of construction details, for
I had
instance.
to describe to somebody that between 4 and 6,000 pound concrete today.
Yeah,
I said, Uncle Google will tell you.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's the kind of, those are the, so I'm leaving out, like concentrating on the performance guarantee.
Yep.
I'm leaving out, all kinds of sections that are technical and the bonding and things like
What's
the
interesting
bonding.
is, while we were discussing this.
But you can do it on your own. I'm just saying, that those were the, he asked me to look at the priorities.
Yep.
No, while we were
Yeah.
in our discussions about Littleton Road just now, I'm beginning to start thinking about the bonding
Yes.
and
Yeah,
all that
right.
that has to take place.
In the homeowners
Yeah.
association and the
We have to do
requirement
that
on the
too.
open space. There's a
Exactly.
lot on
So
the end.
there's work to be done on that also, but
Yeah.
thank you very much, Ken. So it sounds to me that we should prioritize section 4, 6, and 7.
That makes sense to
And
you guys.
if,
Yeah.
if you want to save a couple of trees, Heather,
Yes,
and just print sections 4, 6, and 7 for us.
sure, I can do that.
That'd be great. We can use the underground railroad.
And I'll double side them too, and
Perfect.
then I'll have them upstairs
Yeah, that's
tomorrow,
what
if
I'll
anyone wants to
decide.
come by and pick them up.
Thank you.
Start tomorrow.
Can't pick them up tomorrow.
And I
You wants
just,
to make the trip to the sauna upstairs?
as a reminder,
I won't be able
what
to
you're
come
gonna see
tomorrow,
here
but I'll
is
get
the
it.
compilation
Jim,
of
we dropped off at your
Mark
house.
taking a close look at regulations that have been approved
Mhm.
in other towns and are on the books in other towns.
Last week.
So this is not a question of deriving it from something that isn't out there, what's working. This is out there working in other communities. So it's backed up by
Like
some
the
logic.
like the OSRD, right?
Well, I tell you
No.
what, I looked up this OSID on model OSID. I was amazed how many model OSID
There's a lot of them, yes.
there are. So there's all kinds of tweaking.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again, planning often lags behind what the world around is doing.
Yes.
We'll never get it done. So thank you very much, Ken, I'm sorry to try to
That's
jump over that.
That's what you asked me to do, I think.
Yeah, and the review and discussion of the new zoning map is something that's been on our plate
Yeah,
for
this is
a
good,
while.
good, good, good.
Hey,
So, I was sitting there.
This is really, really important.
I know, that's what I mean, I'm even
It's also up
excited.
on the Mondo pad.
Yeah, I asked Mark to come up with something that we can see, we have a chance of being able to look
Wait, what
at.
did you just mention?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
And,
I wish I could sign my name on
And
it.
this is draft, so if anybody, sees a change or even minor things, it's not too late,
So
you know, to-
I'm going to make one comment, and I think I'm looking at this very quickly. It may not be true in all cases, but that's okay. In the past, our zoning districts have not, we'll put it this way. Typically, a zoning district, when it abuts a road, goes to the center line or the agreed center
Right.
point of the road.
Mhm.
Roads shift over time, and there's a couple of sections here in town where that didn't happen. It looks like we're pretty much in good shape. We are. I was looking at Westford Road, and I just realized the red boundary out there is the Aquifer Protection Zone. I was reading that as a street.
Oh, no, that's the
Okay,
aquifer.
so good. So that's one thing is, and I'm sure it's a simple thing, Mark, we talked about it, okay? Thank you again, thank you for all the work that you've done with the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission on this. And do we currently have, we have the new downtown zone?
Yes.
Downtown,
Yeah.
yep. Form-based
We
code.
have the acronym,
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit.
And that's a light pink? Okay.
Yes. And it's possible this may change relatively soon, because Alan was talking about doing a form-based code district for West Main Street, that little outlier of general
Which is
business.
currently
that you see.
GB, currently
Yeah.
general business, exactly.
So
Okay.
that may change into a form-based code district.
I would have thought that the mixed-use transitional business going east along Main, along Central Avenue.
Right.
Would be also.
Yeah,
another
that's something we can explore.
But let's not
But
take,
that's, yeah,
we got a lot on our plate, guys.
right.
Let's keep going with what we've got.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. What are the next steps on this?
Well, you see, do you like where the signature block is? So,
Yeah, I saw that.
If the board is, we could put this on an agenda for a meeting in the very near future so that they can print the date and it would look nice. And then there's a signature box for planning board members. So we should get a master, full-size master that will become the one that's kept at the town clerk's office. And we need to run multiple copies on a high-quality printer up there of the signed map.
Yep. Fantastic.
Um,
And for those of you in the viewing audience, you actually know where the Devon's Enterprise Zone is and what we're responsible for. This is great.
Yep, the other change is the Aquifer Protection District for Grove Pond was corrected because when they updated the zoning map a few years ago, they didn't take the full extent of the aquifer into account. So now it is.
Our wells are on here in the right places. This is great.
Do you think there's any other road titles that they need to put on here? I mean, there's quite a few on. It's enough
Yeah,
to,
there's,
do you think it's enough for
Yeah,
Heather?
there's a few minor ones that aren't named, but I
well,
think
this
that's the
is
way it
my,
was before.
I need to make an invitation to the rest of the board. It is the annual duty of the planning board to visit the boundaries of the town.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it on my bicycle. I'll finish it. But at some point, we're supposed to actually visit all the boundaries of the town, the bounds of the town. We won't walk across people's land.
by foot? Like, what is that?
Yeah,
It's
what
just
you
a banning, it's a regulation or something.
It's a regulation. Jim
What,
Fay
what does
used to
that
do
look
it.
like?
It's Mass
Of
General
course he
law, it's
did.
been done for 20 years.
I'm sorry?
Perambulating bounds.
Exactly.
It has not been done for at least 20 years.
Hasn't been done in a
First of all,
while.
I'm allowed to
Thank
share the
goodness.
material at the table with the audience.
Yes.
Is that appropriate?
At all
Okay,
times.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Do we have to
wait, so
sacrifice a
exactly,
virgin
are
or
you supposed to like
something?
walk with a flag? Like, what?
No. So, back in the day, when towns needed to be inspected,
Yeah,
it became the role of the planner and the planning board
yeah.
to walk the boundaries of the town.
Why? What did you
It's a
find out?
law.
Yeah, but why? What did you
Because
find
of
out?
the- Because you find out the violations of crossings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
In rural communities, somebody might be.
But I thought we put in the plans, that's not our,
You walked with the person from the adjoining town.
Yeah.
Oh, side by side.
It's the same thing that allows you to have a door.
I was being a little
That's
facetious
all.
there, Julie, and I got you.
no, but I just wanna know who would,
It's been a law on the books in Massachusetts since the 1700s.
but I don't see why that goes to the planning board.
Well, you're the one that approved the zoning map.
It doesn't have to be planning.
Yeah, the zoning board.
By tradition here in
That's the zoning board
town,
of appeals, they appeal the zoning
Oh,
board.
thank
So
you.
you do,
See?
you do the zoning,
They
you
got me.
write, yeah.
and
Thank
by,
you.
Since you're the ones that draft the zoning bylaws, that would probably be
Okay.
why. I mean, if intent.
but a tradition here in town has been the chair of the planning board's been involved in that.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd ride as much as I could on my bicycle, and I'm almost done.
Thanks.
So that's
Fun
fine.
times.
Thank you very much. So the next step for this is to get it printed with a date so we can sign?
Yes.
Anything else we have to do? Any other action we have to take?
Well, if we put this on the agenda for the next meeting, I can have
Let's do it.
NRPC print the master on whatever quality paper they do so that it can be signed. And then we'll make multiple copies of the signed version.
Fantastic. Thank you very
So
much.
you're okay with the signature block being there? I wasn't so sure that was the best place for it, but I mean, otherwise you're hiding things.
Yeah, no, it looks
Exactly.
great.
There's not a lot of room.
Where
for
else would you,
these.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
perfect.
thought it's perfect.
All right.
You could
What
just
else is
walk the
Harvard
entire
for?
town of Harvard. I mean,
Did you look at the disclaimer?
Signing, for signing.
Yeah.
Are you reading it, the disclaimer,
Mm-hmm.
which is important, I guess? All data representational and are not adequate for boundary definition,
Yes.
regulatory interpretation.
Correct.
or
Same thing with the
possible-
assessor's map, that is not a plot plan.
Right, if there's a doubt as to where the zoning
Oh,
district
fair
boundary
enough.
is, you don't
Yes.
go
Yeah,
off
go
of this
with the
map,
disclaimer.
you go
Yeah.
off of, right,
Okay.
yep.
Certified
That
plot
was
plan.
Before.
Believe it or not, I am on board with this disclaimer.
Okay, that's fine.
This is, you know, it, when,
The only other question I have is, what do they call this thing? Is it called the official map, or is it called the zoning map? I want the right
Our
title.
bylaw says zoning map of the town of Ayer, Massachusetts.
You're allowed.
Okay.
That's what the bylaw, section 4.3 of the bylaw is the one that talks about.
The zoning map, okay, 4.3.
I like how they
Location
added
boundaries
more
of the
street
zoning
names.
district hereby established as shown on the map entitled, the zoning map of the town, okay? Dated,
Mhm.
We'll have to change the date in the bylaw.
Okay, that was my only question.
Okay.
It should be
Sign
titled
where we
right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting, and I'll have.
Initial?
We'll have a big
Initial,
clean
yeah,
this one.
And we need a dozen wallet size for Mr. Diskin.
I'd like to propose we initial where we live. No,
No.
just kidding. It'd be fun.
No.
No, not for, oh, you're right. I just thought for fun
No.
on that, but you're right. Okay.
Thank you for the suggestion, no. As my father
Keep
said,
that
fools'
down
names
and
and
see if you
faces
can
at
figure out where he
public
lives.
places.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
I'll tell you
town
a map
planner
story
update.
Okay, I started some work on amending the OSRD section based on the experience we have with the first few subdivisions here. I would like to maybe reconvene Mr. Diskin, and if Jonathan, you're available, and perhaps even Dan, because he helped with the subdivision regulations. I'd like to have just a few of us maybe take, 2 to 3 weeks to look at some of the issues that have come up with OSRD and how we might approach that. I was thinking of starting perhaps next week or the week after on that.
I'll do that.
Because when you're aiming for the October town meeting,
Oh, that's right, you have to.
things happen
August.
fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, that's over.
Yes,
Basically now.
October 28th is the town meeting, and so you go back from that, the warrant is due sometime in
Put that on the
mid-October.
That's right.
So we have to have the public hearings done by like second week of October.
Oh, yeah,
Or
we
early.
would do
Yeah.
sooner than that.
Because you
Oh.
gotta print it.
Right.
The time
You
still
told us
is-
September.
Warrants and all this stuff, so.
Didn't we talk about that, put together?
We're
Yeah, you'd have
talking
to-
basically, by
You'd have to have it done by
September, we should
September.
have the zoning set.
I don't think this, it shouldn't take us very long, 2 or 3 meetings. I mean, there's only a few things. that are-
Right, yeah, I've started on it, so.
You'd have to have the hearing in September.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
I'll contact
3 meetings away.
everybody and we'll work out the meeting dates. So I didn't bring my calendar with me, but,
Thank you.
oh, what was the other thing? There was something you reminded me about that I forgot.
I
What was
reminded you, so you would, I think that, the conservation
Concord.
findings for
Oh,
the
right.
other
For the-
open, the
that was
other
it. Yes,
OSRD.
for
We
the-
got a
yes.
challenge because we didn't have conservation findings
Yes.
for the OSRD before us, 54 and 6, 50,
Yes.
56.
Mhm.
But we also have conservation findings for the Aho development that we
Yes.
haven't finished and made an
Right.
opinion on.
Let's
We
put
didn't
it,
do that?
no, no.
Oh.
If we didn't do that one, we certainly didn't do the
Well,
second
the
one.
Well, we
next
got those.
We
meeting,
got, I know, but we
the
didn't.
next
Oh.
meeting should be
Vote on it.
relatively light in terms
Right.
of this subdivision, the
Okay.
Littleton Road, because we'll still,
Mhm.
we'll have the study going in progress, they'll be revising
Right,
their
right,
plans, and so I think let's put that on the agenda for July 23rd. We'll do the conservation analysis for the Aho.
So we have them, we might have to refresh us.
I was gonna say,
Well,
would
I'll-
you
yeah,
send
I'll
that
get
out
that.
sooner versus later?
Yes, we'll send it
Yeah.
out right away, remind me,
Yeah,
Heather,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
will.
all that, I take my notes.
Yeah, the Conservation Commission did, I know it was sent out a long time ago, but we'll have to resend it.
Right.
Yeah.
So then when they come in, that'll be done. And
That'll
we'll
be
give them a
done.
copy of it.
Yes.
For their use.
Yes.
Yep,
Fantastic, thank you.
that's it.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
You didn't think of that?
And that's all I have for an update right now.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna move us along to administrative announcements, new business.
Jonathan had something.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Oh,
Anybody have anything on the new businesses? Typically Ken's.
I got old business. There's no old business.
Yes, Julie has new business?
Just real briefly, I
Yes.
just would like to say a shout out to Air Public Access Channel for helping very quickly to get me information. They supported our planning board by being able to give me that recording, and I wanted to say thank you
Very good.
of the meeting I missed.
Poor Julie got the audio file for a long drive to and from.
And I stayed awake.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I-
It was that
I
good of
could
a
not
meeting.
imagine listening
Wow.
to us for that while, that period of
Yeah,
time.
that is
Thank
pretty
you.
impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was
Okay.
good. So thank
So
you
that's great.
to them.
I've got nothing else under new business, so we're continuing. We'll follow up with the possibility of a fifth member of the board.
Right.
We have to reach back out, and if anybody
Right.
sees Mr. King around town, turns out we've given him our contact information, but I don't believe I have his.
Oh, I could
What's
probably
his
work
last
on that.
name?
King.
Nathan King?
Yep.
We can probably work on that.
Okay, great. It just occurs to me I might have it, but we'll take a look.
Alright.
So why don't we move on to master plan update? And
So,
excuse me for a sec, when we got, at the end of the last meeting, we invited you to the land use committee meeting. Did you get to one?
yeah, I
Fantastic.
did,
And I know you also met with Mark and Robert today.
exactly.
Great.
So Robert called the meeting to help clarify some things for me, but also consolidate some of the process town-wide beyond the planning board. So there are a couple of things, important things for us to know that came out of the meeting. One is that there was a consensus that this is a good idea. We should be looking through the steps, some things that we need to do, and of course, the master plan. But as you anticipated, Jeff, Robert wanted to clarify just what our attitude to the master plan should be. And he just reminded me and Mark and Alan that, it's not a Bible per se, and that things do change over time. And he reminded us we were expected to do another one in 2027. And this is really important for us to know, that the next go-round, next iteration of the master plan, he expects the planning board will take the lead on that master plan.
Huh.
Which would be a process that would probably begin in 25 for 27. So part of the virtue of us working through the master plan is actually important, a practice of familiarity with what's there. It's also an important practice for that next round. In terms of a working process, Robert assured us that town-wide, there are things going on, that the Board of Selectmen is very concerned about what the progress is. Robert's responsible for updates, their regular informal and formal meetings among department heads. A recommended process for us, and if I get the group approves, is what I would suggest we do is we take these in bites, much as Ken has suggested for doing it with the subdivision regulations. And what I would do on my end is perhaps draft like a rough schedule of timeline of increments. I will work with very closely with Mark to figure out, well, what are the priority areas, just as Ken did, saying, well, what should we start on, what really matters most first, and we would suggest it to you, and I would come to you with a proposal for a kind of timeline, say, we'll do section blah on such and such date, such and blah, et cetera, and take them in pieces. Given the urgency, so I learned something in between that meeting and just now, of course, is that we have the subdivision regulations that go through, and I like the idea of doing these sections 4, 6, and 7. So with the permission of my colleagues, what I would recommend is this. For the next meeting, let me draft together like a rough plan process. But I would anticipate the deep dive, setting that after we get through the subdivision regulations because they're so urgent right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The only thing I would ask the board to consider, and that is, many times a master plan is done retrospectively and somewhat prospectively. Between when I was involved, when we were all engaged in doing the master plan, and today, technologies have come along that we need to be looking at as possible, that will possibly have an impact upon us. Yes, we have solar. Windmills exist. Other uses of land that are not necessarily residential. However, how people move from place to place. What is a downtown form-based code going to do to the assumption that every household has multiple cars? Car sharing is going to happen. There's other things out there. So as you're reading through, you remember you used to get those science, those magazines came out every month when we were kids, The Future, Yeah, well, guess what?
I was
It's
too
now.
busy making the future. I
Huh?
wasn't reading the magazines.
Yeah, but the magazines are
Just
gone.
teasing.
I'm
But
still
the
waiting for
future,
flying cars.
but the future is happening really, really quickly. And the next go around on the master plan, yes, it will be about our physical space, but how we approach the physical space and how we travel across the physical space is changing dramatically. We're going to have to, guys, we're going to have to start coming up with acceptable ways of doing charging stations.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I appreciate what you did, but remember, the master plan itself, it's kind of like you put it in the corner of the building, you put the cover on it, 10 years later you open up, you go, what did we do?
Well, Jeff, the
To
whole
a certain
point of this is to not do that.
I know.
And that was firmly expressed by Robert,
Yeah.
that this is not, the whole purpose of this is so that it's not a dusty document, that we can use what's most valuable in it. And the secondly, is that it changes the orientation of all the departments in the town to be more proactive and less reactive.
Yes.
And that we let the entire community know that there are objectives that we're aiming for that are very important.
Exactly.
And it's part of the discussions we're going to have regarding the implementation steps are, which of these are important enough to focus on because they're germane to the future of this town.
So there's one important change from Jeff's discussion to now, and that's one of the reasons I got involved with the planning board is that we now have professional staff in town hall.
Exactly.
We did not have in other previous
Amen.
master plans.
That's exactly
So
right.
we feel as citizens, or I feel as citizens, that we have a chance of implementing these things because we have leadership
That's right.
that can start from the top and get us on the right track and make that stuff happen, where I think Jeff was absolutely correct in the past. That was something had to do with the state law, but very hard to implement without professionals.
Yeah, and we will continue to do it. There's, I'm not being facetious when I say having a master plan, yes, it's a state law, not required.
Yeah.
There's no requirement that any community have a master
Yeah, but it
plan.
helps with the funding for
However,
grants.
when you go to your grants and your cherry sheet calculations, having master plan is something, being a complete streets community,
Check it
having a
off.
master plan. These are check boxes that move you up in the queue.
They are.
And so
But
they're
they're also,
valuable.
another thing they do for us though, is one of the things, lessons I learned at that citizens planning conference we attended in Worcester at Holy Cross was that we are obligated, every finding we make as a planning board has to be rooted in something, it can't be arbitrary.
Mhm.
One of them can be the master plan is a legitimate anchoring for a finding.
It says it right
And
there.
that, it does say it right there, so it is important leverage for us. It gives us ground to stand on when we're negotiating with applicants and developers. It's a position of strength for us. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else on anybody's mind?
I get old business.
Go ahead.
Could you somebody put an entry of old business?
I will do
in
that
the
for you,
minutes?
yes, I will make that note right now.
One other thing I brought a couple of months or so ago, maybe more, was first of all, I want to remind myself and the planning board that I think we talked about, but we never set a date to do an actual site visit for 54 and 56 Littleton
We
Road.
gotta do that.
We did one in the winter, but I think we talked about it maybe after the last meeting, that we should establish a planning board date. So we really have to see this thing, you know, in the field.
I agree.
As a board, all of us
It's
together.
way too abstract. We gotta get
Buy
out
into
there.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So can we think about that?
Sure.
And ask at the next meeting for a time that the
Actually,
applicant will have the land
even-
available?
Yes.
Even if you want to try and do that informally between
Oh,
now and
okay.
then.
That's up, you can do it then, Mark, you know, whoever you
You know,
think.
if you want to reach out, it requires
Yeah.
them to be there and us to be there
Right,
and get
yes.
access to the property.
And the people living in the houses that have, might be changed or something,
Yeah.
might be
Right.
affected by it, but
Yeah.
that was one thing. The other thing was that I still want to fall back on this concept where we're at the moment, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking in the back of my mind is, we approved the site plan. This is about going out and seeing what activities happen on a site. It's had site plan approval. That's kind of the concept. And I have in the back of my mind the Cataldo project, which we did give site plan approval to. And as you may see, it's just an open pit operation.
Yeah, the
There's no
screening.
pull, they have no, as far as I know, there's no building permit, no. So I'm concerned then that when the applicants submit the stormwater regulations to, excuse me, not regulations, stormwater management design and so forth, that we do a vote on and approve, how does that apply when it's not developed in accordance with the design? So that's a thought. And then I think it would be a big advantage to us to get an appointment with either Bowler Engineering, who's the engineer of the, you know, the project at the All Town, you know, the Montello.
Yes.
Or
They're
the
actually-
on-site construction.
They're moving along.
South
fairly
Doing a
well.
super job. But that would be a great way for us to take a set of drawings that we have from the planner to the site and say, you know, here's the stormwater subsurface installation that's done. Here's the
Beautiful.
septic system installation.
I was actually looking at them before.
Oh, yeah,
love that
I saw
idea.
it all go, but it would be so helpful to see that, how this is installed in accordance with the plans that are shown to us
Exactly.
for everybody, to see these pieces. And once you see
Yep.
that piece, everyone on this board is smart enough to put that in the back of their head, and
Oh, that's
it'll be there for the next
I think
applicant.
it's a great
And you'll
idea.
see it, this is what a box looks like that's a subsurface
Right.
stormwater
Yeah.
system.
Before
This
they
is what the
cover it.
piping looks like, this is what a big catch basin looks like, and grading looks like, and cutting and filling looks like. Because they had like 9 machines over there the other day. I was amazed at how many machines they had. That's a lot of machines on a small site.
They are doing.
They're doing it.
Well, yeah, and they're
All
doing it right.
cylinders.
And they're not leaving the machines on site overnight, which is interesting.
Okay.
A large cost of machinery is storing.
I'll just give you perfect examples, you know, the hay bale line, the fencing around the project, the stone you put off the street to catch dirt off the trucks before it comes back on the street. These are things that, you know, might fall on a plan or we could miss it. Those guys know what they're doing.
They're doing it.
So it's an example of us as a board, so I don't know how we do that, Mark, can you help us with that, or?
Yeah, I'll, well, we have a
Is that okay with you? I mean,
Absolutely.
we had a staff level pre-construction conference with DPW and the fire police and, you know, Charlie and everybody, and that went well, and there was a lot of technical things discussed, but out of that, I have the names of the head contractors, and I could
yeah.
call him and see
I
when a
have
good
all
time would
those
be.
too.
you guys like that idea?
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah, I'm not
idea.
sure
The
when,
Thank you.
timing wise.
The only recommendation I might make is typical construction hours are
I know.
7 till 3.
Right. Might
So
have to be 3:30.
I would
or 4.
recommend doing it in the afternoon
Right,
because
right after.
there is an exposure and danger for everybody.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, you need
So,
to have
yeah,
hard hats and
right.
all that.
Um,
Yep,
And then, you know, they may just love that idea themselves as contractors because it's gonna give them a shot at looking at showing us their work and the quality of the work.
Exactly.
But it's nice to see the sequences, things being delivered,
Correct.
installed, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm smiling because
Yes.
as you guys know, I drive a diesel vehicle now. I get my diesel across the street from there, and I spent a lot of time sitting inside the fence looking at them. And you know, when they were putting in the subsurface water
Yeah.
water separator, water storage system, I'm looking at it going, I've seen that before. Actually, Bonnie and I were going through Watertown, and the Arsenal Mall is now being built up on even more, creating more impervious surface. So they were required to put in subsurface water
Beautiful.
management systems. And these guys are big enough to drive a truck through, a large pickup truck
Yeah,
through.
they're huge.
They're huge, baffled containers. So we're driving by and they're orange. And Bonnie goes, "What are those?" I go, "That's subsurface. It's subsurface water management." She says, "That's a lot of water." I said, "Yes, it is." But they're within a decent drive of the Charles River. So they have to manage and move the water somewhere else.
I think that's really important for the planning
So-
board to understand that
Yes.
this regulation about the state, how everything that you create on a site has to be controlled on the site.
And this is now
And
happening.
that's a
Yeah.
very difficult
Big
thing for
change.
developers to do, engineering wise.
Yep.
And, you know, you're depending on all these criteria and whatnot, but, so that's my suggestion under old business.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah, good one.
I actually had a new business item.
We could talk about the parking garage too, but that's, I think, it's too tight, the site's kind of, it doesn't have all the elements you really need.
Right.
The parking-
Yeah.
So I think the bowl, I think
But I
the,
think, yeah, global
I would
hotel
have,
makes
I think
sense.
we'd have a hard time convincing
yeah,
Montezut to let us on to the parking garage site.
so let's do the other one, if
Very little
everyone
happens. It
agrees.
seems like very little happens there on a daily basis. My understanding is that they're doing,
They got a lot of fabrication, making the concrete, and
Yep.
when they put that up with a crane,
it's gonna go up really quick.
Oh.
it was real
Yeah.
quick.
I apologize. I had an agenda item, but it's okay. I'll leave it off. I'll let Heather and Mark know about it for our next meeting. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for this evening's meeting being a working
Oh,
meeting.
Julie,
Just from the past
Oh, sorry.
from the past 5 minutes, we're assuming her phone might be in that bag. Jess had been trying to reach out to her. So if you can just for now keep it in your office, Jess agreed that that was best. But if we have a
Yes.
home number available for her, we could let her know that that's where it is. The email I have for the King family is not in service anymore, but I do have a reference of where they
Thank you.
live, so I will work on that some
I
more.
appreciate that.
So I will continue on.
Union
no,
Street
Thank
near
you.
St. Mary's,
Yes.
right?
hmm
Okay.
I got it. So I'll get you that tomorrow by the
Fantastic.
afternoon.
Um,
You're welcome. Which part? All of that. You're welcome.
But I was gonna say, thank you all very
Thank
much for
you.
the work that's gone into Littleton Road and other places. It's hard. This is a brand new animal in a brand new place. And I think what's happened is the economics of doing a 10-story building. I was keeping it out. So
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.